1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, everybody, welcome in. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Wednesday. I hope I put that in the right description, because I think I said we are live on a Thursday on the Facebook description. So if anyone is able to confirm that, but regardless, it is Wednesday. Trying to fast forward this week, apparently.
Trying to get to that football game tomorrow.
Dude, so Keith and I talked about that today. Keith Byers, he came in to do a show today since we were off Monday because of the holiday. And he was even like, so I thought it was like not just you and I. Like, he even said, man, it does not feel like tomorrow the season kicks off. It just does not feel like that at all.
Yeah, we don't have those cues. We don't have those cue marks that we always look forward to say, all right, it's time to switch on to football. Like those preseason games, like the Hall of Fame game is one of the cues. And then you get your real preseason games. Like, we don't have those cues. I was reading this article about Hard Knocks, HBO's Hard Knocks, and the ratings for them are super low. But I thought everybody's supposed to be home, right? Like, everybody's home. They're not doing anything, right? It's supposed to be turning on TV. So that goes to show you, like, people just like, they're out. Like, this whole COVID-19 realm we're living in, we're not in our right mind. We're not doing the things that we would normally do at all, because we talked about how the NBA's numbers are down. Everybody figured that NBA's numbers are going to be crazy since they're the first sport back. They're in the playoffs. Their numbers are down. A show on HBO like Hard Knocks that always does well, their numbers are down. It's a weird time, man. I was also seeing a push for fantasy football because there aren't as many people signing up for fantasy football this year. We're in a weird situation.
I think people are right now, they're being like, I know I'm that way. Like, I'm super pumped that the season's here, but at the same time, I'm also being very cautious in regards to how much of myself I'm investing into the excitement level, because I don't want to get just so pumped for the Browns, Bengals, and the NFL season to get here just to have the plug pulled. But I really do think, like, I think we're being too negative about that as far as that's concerned, because really every sport has been able to hit the ground, and Buckeye fans don't get upset. I'm just saying, like, every sport, like, name one sport that hasn't happened because of COVID. Like, everything's rolling.
Everything's happening.
We got a complete Major League Soccer season in. Hockey is rolling. Mm-hmm. Basketball is rolling. I mean, we already know. One team's already punched their ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I called that, by the way.
Baseball, and I think I said this, baseball's rolling. I mean, baseball's had some hiccups along the way, and they got, as much as we bash them, got to give them credit, because I can't tell you. When's the last player that's tested positive in Major League Baseball, at least that we've heard of?
Right.
So, and the NFL's kicking off tomorrow. I get why people are upset, but you really got to, like, it's tough to be positive during these times, but at the same time, you really got to look at some of the positives and say, for as bad as this year has been, you really got to be impressed with just how these organizations have been able to put one foot in front of the other and keep moving. They didn't sit there and say, well, COVID's here, so, we're just going to pull the plug on the season and we'll reevaluate for next. No. You may not be a big wrestling fan, but I don't know if you've witnessed what they've done to adapt to these times. Mm-hmm. They literally stole the idea not really stole. Everyone's, using ideas from other, entertainment industries. So the NBA has the live virtual fans for the games. WWE took that and took it to the next level. They literally have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of monitors around the Thunderdome, as they call it, the arena there. And it looks so cool. and it looks so much better than what they were doing in the empty arena. My point is you have to be impressed with how every sport or entertainment avenue out there has been able to try to put one foot in front of the other. Comedians are doing, drive-in movie. They're literally, doing drive-in movie theaters and stuff. Like, it's so cool seeing how the entertainment industry has been able to adapt during these times. Now, is it sustainable? It is in the short term for, going at this, but I don't know. Can the NBA survive 2 or 3 years in a bubble? No. Right. Can baseball survive 2 or 3 years with no fans in attendance? No. But give these organizations a ton of credit for moving forward and trying to play during these times. Same thing, the Big Ten, they're being vilified right now and everything along those lines. Same thing with the Pac-12. With all that being said, though, pretty much everything has gone on. It just looks different because of COVID, and that's the times that we live in right now. So I don't know if it's fans aren't willing to invest into their excitement level for the upcoming season. I don't know why you wouldn't, because there's nothing from 2020 sports wise to make you feel like there's no way that the NFL season is going to happen, because every sport's had found a way. I said, NFL fans need to be big baseball fans. Pay attention. It didn't look pretty at first. I was like, oh man, if baseball already, they had a huge outbreak the first week of the season. And it's been not smooth sailing since, but less turbulence as far as that goes. I think football's okay. They're going to get a season, and there's going to be some games that are postponed. There's going to be some players that test positive. But at the end of the day, it's a situation where I'm going to try and remain as positive as possible about the NFL season. I don't get it. 457-9464. We are live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook and leave a note in the comment section. Why are you not as ready for this upcoming NFL season? Because I'm curious about our listeners' takes on this too, because we feel it, and I can't put my thumb on it. I don't know why it doesn't feel like the season's here. I'm excited for it. Does no fans in the stands take away the legitimacy of a game? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we keep saying that this baseball season, that, even if the Reds made the playoffs and won a World Series, would it have an asterisk next to it? It shouldn't. But I do know when I'm watching the Reds games, and it's not because they've just been abysmal this year, that it's lacking something. Fans, the excitement, the energy, maybe because all of that has impacted the viewing experience. Maybe that's led to the drop in ratings. I do know this: if the Lakers and Celtics meet in the finals, or the Lakers and the Heat to see LeBron James go back to Miami and in the finals, the fact that we won't get to see that, that's going to that's going to bum me out. The Lakers and Celtics, if that's what ends up being the finals, it's going to bum me out that we're not going to get to see LeBron play in the Garden, Lakers, Celtics, and, carry on that tradition of that rivalry within the NBA playoffs and finals. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's as simple as, because there's no fans in the stands, it does take away the excitement of the game. Maybe that's what it is. That's the only thing I could think of, because you're right. People are supposed to be home watching, and that's not the case right now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the NFL, and maybe we need to remind some people of some of these NFL storylines. You got Cam Newton with the Patriots. You got the GOAT, Tom Brady in Tampa. Ben Roethlisberger is back. You got Baker, OBJ, year 2. You got Joe Burrow, first pick with the Bengals. You got Lamar Jackson coming off an MVP season. Will he win a playoff game? And you got Patrick Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl champions kicking off tomorrow night versus basically his rival in Houston, with Deshaun Watson signing a huge deal. So it's a ton of NFL storylines there for people to grab hold of. A lot of the first couple weeks, there aren't going to be fans there. To be perfectly honest, I'm used to it by now. I've been watching so much NBA. I've been watching tennis. I've been watching a lot of these sporting events without fans. I'm kind of used to it now, So, maybe it'll be different for the NFL because the fan experience is so a part of it. And I think it'll definitely be different come Saturday when I'm watching some college football without fans. But I'm used to it. I'm here for it. I definitely need the entertainment because I think I've run out of things to watch on Netflix.
Yeah, and by the way, College Game Day this past Saturday was just depressing as hell. I mean, it was just one big PSA for why there's no football right now. It'll feel, college football will feel a little bigger this weekend with the ACC kicking off. I think that'll help. But overall, it has been tough. And Billy, I agree with you. By the way, we're live on Facebook. If you head to Facebook and leave your opinion in the comment section, we'll be able to pull it in. But Billy on Facebook, he says that no Buckeyes, in my opinion, is the reason for less excitement around here. And that's crazy. Could that bleed over into the NFL? I mean, you know what I'm saying as far as that's concerned? I don't know. Billy says no Buckeyes is depressing, but still he's still in 4 fantasy leagues, and he's excited about the Bengals on Sunday. So, yeah, and again, we're not saying that no one's excited about it, but as a collective, this is as a whole for the fan base listening in this city right now, we're all excited about it, but I think there's something internally within us that is like kind of holding us back from fully investing into this. I'm telling you what it is for me. It is no fans in the stands, even limited fans, because I did realize, but again, you always have to be reminded, the atmospheres at these games is what provides that great viewing experience.
Definitely.
When the crowd's into it. That's why, I'm watching the NBA playoffs. And by the way, we are watching. This is why when LeBron went back to the West, I was like, man, this is going to create so many awesome matchups every single night. Because you only got to see James Harden versus LeBron twice this season when he was in the East. Now you get to see him, how many times? But in the playoffs, you're getting to see James Harden versus LeBron, Westbrook versus LeBron. You're getting to see a lot of these top stars. Dame Lillard versus LeBron. Dame Lillard versus LeBron in the playoffs, that was non-existent, of course, when he was in the Eastern Conference.
Right.
Now you're getting to see that. We've seen LeBron play everybody in the East 1,000 times and twice on Sunday. I mean, we've seen it over and over. So there's fresh matchups, but there's something that, like, even as much of a LeBron fan as I am, there's something missing right now, and it's the fans. If LeBron and the Lakers get to the finals and they play the Celtics or they play the Heat, and I don't get to see LeBron play at the Garden or see LeBron play in Miami, that will water it down. It really will. It doesn't mean that the championship doesn't mean as much. It just means, for me, the viewing experience is not the same. Hell, even when we were watching the Cavs and Warriors for like 10 straight years in the finals, even though we knew that LeBron and the Cavs really didn't, I mean, you know what I mean? We knew they didn't have a chance. I mean, they had a chance, but we knew that it was going to take a miracle for them to be. The atmosphere alone kept you tuning in just because it's just a different feel. That's what's going to be missing for the NBA playoffs. That's what's going to be missing in the early going of the NFL season. Hell, even the other night, ESPN on Monday night doing that Army or doing the Navy and the BYU game.
See, that was brutal.
The game was brutal, but the build to it felt awkward. Like, I felt like ESPN was forcing that on us. Like, that game's not being brought to you on ESPN any other season. It was brought to us that night because there's no other big matchup of the weekend.
Right.
No disrespect to those programs, but that's the reality of it. And by the way, I'm going to say that, but also compliment ESPN, because they could easily have just said, oh, we're not going to do a game day in the first week and blah, blah. But they did bring you BYU and Navy. They did bring you a game, like, and then that's, still respecting the teams that are playing right now at the moment. But yeah, it just doesn't feel, sports feels weird right now. Baseball feels weird. The Reds, even if they did make the playoffs, like, part of me is, I know this sounds weird, if they missed the playoffs, I'm disappointed, but I'm not. Because I honestly believe this, Kev.
Let me mark that down. Mark that down.
No, hear me out. Hear me out.
You go on another rant about the Reds in about an hour.
No, hear me out. Them missing the playoffs, I think I'm going to be hurt that they missed the playoffs. But you know what I'd be more hurt by? Watching a playoff game at Great American Ballpark and no fans in the stands. Because there's something special about playoff baseball.
Yes.
Like you can have a game in the middle of July sold out at Great American Ballpark, and it's a great atmosphere. But there's something about a sold-out Great American Ballpark in a playoff game that just feels different. The chill in the air, the fans, the excitement, everything else. Because probably a sellout at Great American Ballpark in July, I'm probably wondering what the hell bobblehead they're giving away that day. When it's in October, it's different. So to me, I think it would hurt me more to watch the Reds make the playoffs with no fans than it would be to watch them miss the playoffs. As crazy as that sounds. But David Bell, you're still in the hot seat if you don't make the playoffs. I'm just saying, as far as that's concerned. Ron Howard says, Big Ten let everyone down, jump the gun. Everyone else has moved on. It will come back to haunt them. It will come back on them. Ron, I'm not willing to go there yet. The Big Ten looks really, really bad. But what happens if we get a couple weeks into the season? Like, how many postponements are already going on this weekend? Baylor's postponed. There's like 3 or 4
Oklahoma
games that
State.
I counted.
A lot of stuff out of the Big 12 is being postponed right now.
And that's week 1.
Yeah.
Now, again, we did this in baseball, and we said, oh, man, this is week 1 already, the first weekend of the season, and look at that. So maybe it cleans up as it goes, but as we're introducing more and more teams, again, it's going to be interesting. The Big Ten, we just don't know right now. Right now, it's just you're angry because your teams aren't playing. But in reality, some of the other teams may not play either if it all comes to, if it starts really taking off the way that it has. So we'll see. But I'm curious people's thoughts on just why sports just does not, I thought sports would be everything during this pandemic, to take your mind off everything else. I'm curious, too, in all seriousness.
I think I'm the only person out there that's watching, like, every single NBA game. Like, I'm locked in, like, every game. Like, last night. So you don't think
the no fans doesn't take anything away from you at all?
At first it did, but the games are so good. Like, I don't even pay it any attention anymore. Like, the game, like last night's game with Miami and Milwaukee, that game was so good to see Tyler Hero taking it to the rack, bombing threes, and then basically him and Chris Middleton going back and forth. Like, that's what you really want. You want to see 2 good guys go attack each other. And, this is kind of off the subject, but a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the great American white basketball player. I think Tyler Hero is coming for that spot.
He's my hero.
He is coming for that spot, and his story is so great. He's from Wisconsin, committed to go to Wisconsin, decommitted and went to Kentucky. He was only like a 3-star recruit and first-round pick. His first year in the NBA. They're going to him in crunch time moments with Bam on the team, with Jimmy Butler on the team, and he's producing, man. So I want to salute Tyler Hero, and I salute I almost called them the Dolphins, but the Heat on making to the Eastern Conference Finals, which I called, by the way. Never mind. Go ahead. That's one to make sure everybody knew
the
that
Eastern
I called.
Conference.
They show everybody knew I called that.
They're all playing to see who loses to LeBron in the finals. I mean, that's the Eastern Conference should be who's losing to LeBron 2020.
You better hope that it's not the Celtics that make it there. That's all I know. Better hope that it's the Heat.
I'm not scared.
Better hope it's the Heat.
I ain't scared. All right, lots to get into. We didn't get to touch on the Cincinnati Reds yesterday. The Reds get shut out again last night, and they waste one hell of a pitching performance from Tyler Mahle. We'll get into that coming up around the corner. I keep hearing excuses for the Reds, and I'm curious your thoughts on this. The Reds are being talked about on social media, and a lot of reporters out there say they're the most unluckiest team in baseball. That's a new way to say one of the worst teams in baseball. Just saying. Let me get into that. What role does luck play in sports? Not saying it doesn't exist, but what role does it play? Either good luck or bad luck. We're going to get into that coming up around the corner. ESPN simulated the entire NFL season. We were able to fast forward through that yesterday. We didn't get to spend a lot of time in the AFC. We'll recap that as well. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon is going to be mainly clear and sunny with a high near 91. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 66. And tomorrow's going to be mostly sunny with a high near 86. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
They can bulge, go bald, wear down, flatten, or be in dire need of replacing. No, guys, it's not you. We're talking about your tires. Let Fat Boys get your car rolling again. Safe and sound. Fat Boys carries tires in all makes, styles, and sizes, including Continental, Goodyear, Michelin, and more. Check out Fat Boys' new location in North Dayton at the corner of Needmore and I-75 or 3050 Springboro Pike in South Dayton. Fat Boys, your ultimate resource for wheels, tires, service, and accessories. Look for Fat Boys at fatboysdayton.com.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the Frells family. They live on a piece of land they call greener pasture, and they work on it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. With its durable construction and features that hook up to dozens of attachments with ease, no job is too tough. The Frells family runs with us, because this is more than just land. It's home. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
It's the summer clearance event at Key Chrysler. I'm Chris Toby. At Key, our primary focus is your safety and ours. We are practicing safe social distancing. Probably like you, we hate it, but we are wearing our masks, and we are diligently cleaning the dealership. If you're more comfortable handling your sales and service needs from home, we can help you. Visit TobyAuto.com, where you can complete all the aspects of a vehicle purchase, including financing and trade appraisals, schedule service, or simply get a question answered. Most importantly, stay safe out there. We will get through this together.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from the Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro Painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I've had CertaPro Painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State-themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro Painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time, they get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro Painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Fall is all about feel-good food and family. This fall, get a home-style meal on the go that everyone will love. Stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for a 12-piece spicy bonus box for only $23.99. Home-style can happen anywhere with 12 mixed pieces of Lee's Spicy Classic Chicken, a large mashed potatoes and gravy, and a large coleslaw, all at a great price. Get a home-style meal made easy with our 12-piece spicy bonus box for only $23.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Get big jobs done quicker with pass-load framing nailers from Menards. The Power Master Plus framing nailer packs heavy-duty performance into a lightweight design. That's why pros choose pass-load. All pass-load nailers are 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Prices are good until September 12th. Savings or mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works Package and the Double Take Tire Specials. Call today for your appointment, 937-419-8473 or 1-800-700-0050. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. To find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Always get your go-to with the new $10 tastemaker from Pizza Hut. A large pizza with up to 3 toppings for just $10. Choose contactless delivery or curbside pickup at pizzahut.com. Price higher in some locations. Limited time offer. Availability of contactless curbside and delivery areas. Charges and minimums vary. Delivery charge not tipped.
Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green, the iconic cleaning formula known around the globe. Try a Simple Green product today, and if you're not 100% satisfied, I'll refund your money. Visit us at simplegreen.com.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Smoothbrook, Illinois.
The Lowe's for Pros loyalty program gives pros personalized offers, purchase tracking, and more. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty. Terms and conditions apply. U.S. only.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here. My voice just cracked.
Very 1980s.
I know I'm the height of a 12-year-old, and my voice just cracked as if like I'm entering puberty or something. Holy smokes. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Our ESPN Dayton High School Football Game of the Week coming up this Friday night. Another Centerville game. Centerville will welcome in the Wayne Warriors. Both teams with a win and a loss on the season. And Wayne, after losing in week 1 to Springfield, gets a big win in week 2. Centerville got a big win over Fairmont in week 1. They had a tough loss against Springfield this this past Friday night in overtime. So Centerville and Wayne both looking to try and become, get a game above 500. And of course, it's going to be another good one on Friday night. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and myself will be on the call. It's our ESPN Dayton High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Kettering Health Network Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. 457-9464. That's the number to call in and join in on the conversation. Again, listen, stream, and now watch. You can listen at 1410 Wing AM, stream the show at wingam.com. And then, of course, you can watch us live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Follow the ESPN Dayton Facebook page as well, and you'll be able to watch along every day. And, of course, you'll be able to interact. When you interact in the comment section, we're able to pull your comment into the show just like we did here. We were opening the show talking about why does it not feel like the NFL season kicks off tomorrow. Kev and I are super excited, but even as excited as I am, I could still tell there's something something missing. I can't put my finger on it. These games count. The NFL, the NFL is actually the only sport right now where there's no gimmick. It's 16-week regular season. It's regular playoffs. There's no crazy overtime gimmicky rules. There's no bubble. There's no, you know what I mean? Out of all the sports that have played, the NFL this will be as close to normalcy as possible.
Right.
The only adjustment they made was no preseason. But yeah, so Billy again says no Buckeyes, in my opinion, is the reason for less excitement around here. I think that the depression of the Buckeye season being, the plug being pulled, I think has played a role in that. But again, this is going to be an exciting year for both the Browns and the Bengals just because of all the expectations and the new play. The Bengals have a breath of fresh air for the first time in a while.
Absolutely. With Joe Burrow being in town, he's Ohio through and through. And, I'm rooting for Joe Burrow for multiple reasons. One, because you're from Ohio. Once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye.
Unless you're Tate Martell.
And, it's weird to be rooting for a Bengal quarterback. But another reason I'm rooting for Joe Burrow is Joey B is an a-hole. And I like a-holes, like Aaron Rodgers. But I'm rooting for Joe Burrow because he can be what I thought. What's my guy that just got cut from the Dolphins?
Rosen
is an a-hole too. And I love a-hole quarterbacks. And I think that Joe Burrow can be a good one and just be arrogant and be that guy in a sarcastic way, because I liked the fact that Baker planted the flag at Ohio State, even though he did it to my team. I liked it. Now, once he got drafted by the Browns, I just all right, well, I have no use for you anymore. But I like quarterbacks that are a-holes and the guys that are going to speak their mind. So I'm all about Joey B being a very good quarterback in the NFL.
I'm with you on that. And again, one of the reasons I did like Baker as well was because of that. I don't like Daniel Jones. He could end up being one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. And I'm not even taking a shot at him. There's no, if the Browns would have drafted him, I don't know how the Giants fans were excited when they drafted him. There's no flair. There's no
Eli part 2.
Yeah. And then that's how Eli was so dry and Peyton was dry, but Peyton had this weird sense of humor. He had this, it wasn't even the twang in his voice. It was just, he was a funny guy. But I like my quarterback to have a little flair to him, to have a little attitude to him, because when you win, you love it even more. When you lose too, though, sometimes that is the downfall. Mm-hmm. Though, Cam Newton, as great as he is, we don't talk about the fact that he led the Panthers to a Super Bowl. We talk about how he stormed out of the press conference afterwards. That's what I remember most about his Super Bowl appearance, was not that he's won an MVP and led a team to a Super Bowl. It's that he threw a temper tantrum in the middle of a press conference because he heard the Super Bowl winning team celebrating too close to his locker room. That's what I remember. Baker, we don't remember the dominant, we don't remember the dominant rookie season that he had. We remember all the downfalls. We remember the Tiger commercial. We remember all the stupid commercials he did for the insurance play. We remember all those things. We don't remember the good. We only remember the bad. But that's what comes with, of course, that type of personality. Yeah. Josh Rosen, Daniel Jones, there's nothing about him that I remember. There's nothing good or bad about him that I remember. It's dry. Sam Darnold's the same way.
Russell Wilson's the same way.
I'm glad that, but then he, look who he's married to now. So good for him.
Facts.
But yeah, he before he was Carlton, and now that's who I saw. He did the commercial with who plays Carlton in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Alfonso Roberto.
Yeah, they did a commercial together a few years ago that I thought was hilarious. They were both doing the little Carlton dance in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But no, I like quarterbacks who have a little flair, who have a little bit of personality, and that's what I do like about Joe Burrow as well. But again, Bengals fans told me for the last 2 years that quarterbacks are not allowed to have a personality. They're not allowed to be that way. But it's funny how they're going to adjust to Joe Burrow. And by the way, Joe Burrow, when you win, like that's my point too. The national championship game, we remember the cigar, pointing at the ring. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The cigar. I like that flair about Joe Burrow. That's why Baker versus Burrow is going to be huge.
Yeah.
That rivalry moving forward. If Baker can establish himself in Cleveland, and same thing for, Joey B and Cincy, like that's what's going to add to that rivalry. The fact that those two have the personalities that they do. And, Baker is one of those like uber competitive guys that like, he's going to drop sound bites, whether you want him to or not. Eventually he's been on his best behavior this past offseason.
Definitely.
But you know what I need to learn from Baker too? Like we've learned about him now that he's able to kind of calm it down when things aren't going well. But can you keep it calm? Can you keep it channeled when things are going well? Because is Baker going to revert back to his old obnoxious self if Cleveland starts winning?
Of course.
So that's going to be
key. He should. When you win, you get to do that. When you
got
win,
your arguing voice go.
When you win, you get to do that. But when you lose, that's what comes with the ridicule. Another quarterback that I really like his game, but he's bland, Kyler Murray. Very bland. Like him and Russell Wilson, if you ever heard them do an interview, you're turning it off. Like, I don't think you guys are going to be getting any endorsements because you have no personality, or you're not letting your personality shine through. I like a person with personality, especially my quarterback, because when a quarterback has a personality and he's able to win on the field, your teammates rally behind that. You're the leader of the pack. And, there's no, you and I differ about Baker and the whole OBJ thing. But, I firmly believe if they would have just stuck with that core that they had the first year instead of trading for OBJ, the Browns would have been in the playoffs the next year. I believe that he was on his way to becoming one of the most elite leaders in the NFL because the team followed behind him. And once they got an infusion of all that talent and all that extra personality, he took a step back and was not the leader of the team anymore. The circus was the leader instead of him. If Baker Mayfield can be the leader of the team, they can go places. I don't think the circus
but
can
the
be
circus
the leader
never presented itself in Cleveland. Well, like there was no distraction.
Watches.
You let that be a distraction. That wasn't a distraction within that locker room.
When you miss an offensive series because you got to go change shoes, that's a distraction.
I don't think so. I think that's a narrative that we create as media that doesn't exist with players. If you ask any athletes, no one's like, oh man, we were going to score a touchdown that run, but I was too worried about where OBJ was. I really disagree. I think
when your number one receiver isn't out there because he got to go change shoes.
Listen, he was playing hurt all year. He only had 4 touchdowns.
That was the second game of the season.
It's not like he was doing a lot when he was out on the field to begin with. So, I'm curious, and people, and we're live on Facebook. I'm curious, that's the thing we do in media, though, in sports media, we create these narratives in sports that I think don't exist. When you talk to athletes, like they laugh at some of the things that we as sports media say, and that's one of the ones that we always hear all the time is, oh well, it's a distraction. It's a distraction. Like I don't think athletes get distracted. I don't think that, oh man, we had a bad practice today because of OBJ's watch. Oh man, we had a bad start to the game because of OBJ's watch. They had a bad game.
It's a distraction. It's a distraction because we ask about it. But if you don't,
but that's after the game. So how did that impact them in the game?
If you're not on the field because you got to go change your shoes, that's a problem. That's the same way when Thurman Thomas forgot his helmet to go into the first series with the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. Like, what's going on here? Like, these are simple things. Just wear the shoes. Hey, man, just have your helmet. Like, this not that difficult.
And the distraction too. And by the way, the shoes that he was wearing that he got in trouble for, whatever.
I love them. I really wanted a pair.
Those shoes, though, got cleared in the preseason to be able to wear. He laid out a different pair of shoes for every game of the season. Every one of those shoes was cleared by their whoever run David Fulcher for the Bengals, former Bengal great. He's their guy over there. Like when Schlemmer and I did the show and Fulcher would come on, Schlemmer always called him the fashion police. Then always ticked him off. He said, "Stop calling me the fashion police." But in Cleveland, their guy cleared his cleats. It's not like he, so of course, when the game's about to start and they start changing the rules, he gets real frustrated and yada, yada.
Fair enough.
So the watch, I still think that's being overblown. But my point is this. I don't think it's a distraction during a game with the watch because you're talking about, well, then the questions enter the locker room about it. Well, the locker room, or if they're being asked about it in the locker room, that's after the game. That had nothing to do with the game before. And they practice the next day. And if you're letting a question about a watch keep you from being able to practice to your fullest ability, then maybe you're not as mentally strong as what we would need in this locker room as far as that's good. I just feel like we create these narratives all the time of things that just, I don't know if they exactly or necessarily really impact a team or not. Like, I think Tom Brady is a distraction just because of all the stuff that we talk about with Tom Brady that has, like, of his past has nothing to do with the current team. Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that. I mean, that could be anything we talk about could be looked at as a distraction. I've talked about that with Byers too. I'm like, how much do players pay attention to media and all that? He goes, way more than you think. Every one of them. They're always listening to media. Well, we're the distraction, not the other way around. I don't know. But
I'll ask you, was Baker the leader of the team his rookie year?
I don't know if can you be a leader your rookie year?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
So I thought the team.
I think you could be a motivator. A leader.
Yes.
Like, I looked at Duke Johnson as like a veteran guy. I'm not saying it can't. By the way, Joe Burrow was named team captain.
Wow.
As a rookie. So, of course.
Has that ever happened before?
That I do not know. But I think that's a big deal. And Joe Burrow has proven to be a leader, not just on the field, but off. Most rookies come in and they just want to, learn the playbook. They want to execute on the field. They don't want to be a distraction. And Joe Burrow has taken on. I mean, you look at the role that he has taken in trying to, bring attention to police brutality and everything off the field. He's been a leader on and off. I respect the hell out of him for the role that he's played in that. But again, that's the thing, though, Kev. Like that's great that he's doing that. This isn't about. I'm not trying to get into this conversation about what he. Again, he's the face of the team, speaking out against police brutality, and it looks awesome right now. Oh, he's such a great leader, but he's not going to get that same respect if he doesn't play well. Like, you can't just be a leader if your game doesn't back it up. We learned that with Baker. It was easier for us to say Baker was leading the Browns his rookie season because he was playing well. The team started winning games. They were 0-16 the year before. They tied the Steelers in week 1. They were getting embarrassed in the first half against the Jets. They looked like they were just, it was an abysmal first half. And then he comes in and all of a sudden it's like they're just marching up and down the field and the Jets couldn't stop him. So, when they start winning games, hell, even when they lost to the Raiders the next week, it was like it was a shootout or whatever. And it was an entertaining thing. So my point is it's easy to be a leader when you're winning. Joe Burrow's looked at as a leader right now because he's doing all the right things, the charity, with the food bank and, winning. Again, you could be a leader because you won a national championship. You won a Heisman. Your Heisman, flush it. When you step foot out on the field this Sunday, no one cares about your Heisman. No one cares about Baker's Heisman. No one cares about Cam Newton's Heisman. Look how these quarterbacks are just disrespected because they're not winning, so they're kind of thrown under the rug a little bit. So Joe Burrow, he's a captain, good for him. But again, will he be viewed as a leader when they only win 3 or 4 games this year, according to most? I'm just saying. So it's easy to be a leader when you win. It's tough to be a leader when you lose.
Fair enough. I'll get you. I got you.
So there's that. All right, good stuff. Again, we're going to get into some Reds talk in a moment, because speaking of those cleats, by the way, a very similar situation has presented itself with the Cincinnati Reds and Trevor Bauer. Keep in mind, the reason OBJ is considered a distraction with the cleats and the watch is because the Browns are losing. If the Browns are winning, that's just a little side note, and we laugh at it and move on. Trevor Bauer is the OBJ of the Cincinnati Reds. I can't stand Trevor Bauer. I love what he does and what he brings to the table. He's a hell of a pitcher. I am not a Trevor Bauer guy. If he wins games, great. But I think he is a me guy, not a we guy. We'll discuss next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Small Engine Service Pros in New Carlisle is your local authorized dealer for the Hustler mower family. Stop in today and take a look at the new Hustler Super Z Hyperdrive, ready to take on the big jobs. The Super Z Hyperdrive features Hustler's exclusive Hyperdrive transmission system, the largest, most durable drive system in the industry, and it's backed by a 3,000-hour drive system warranty. Hustler, tools, not toys. Visit Small Engine Service Pros at 2030 North Dayton Lakeview Road, Route 235 in New Carlisle.
Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. Our Roosters family would like to thank all of our loyal Roosters guests who have supported us during these challenging times. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to keep our team members employed. We are striving to do everything we can to keep you and our team safe. Find a location near you at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Let's go, let's go, squeeze. We're going, growing, standing tall, climbing up and hiding, seeking, giving our all.
Our kids' days are filled with adventure, and Go-Go Squeeze is there for every run, jump, step of the way. Made from wholesome ingredients like 100% fruit and veggies, real yogurt, and no artificial anything in Go Anywhere pouches, so our kids can keep going wherever their adventures take them. Go-Go Squeeze. You make the memories, we'll make the snacks. Find us in the applesauce aisle.
Let's go.
When you have trouble sleeping, it's tough. When kids have trouble sleeping,
Mom, I can't sleep. Dad, just one more story?
for nights like this, try Vicks Pure Z's Kids. Our great tasting gummies are specially formulated for kids with a unique blend of botanicals and a low dose of melatonin to support their natural sleep cycle. Best of all, they're drug-free and non-habit forming. Help your child fall asleep naturally with Pure Z's Kids Gummies. Consult with a doctor before use. For ages 4 and up.
Okay, moms and dads, you gotta check this out. Target has all the easiest ways to check off your kids' entire list and get them ready for school. Like Drive Up. Order ahead and Target will load your school order right into your car's trunk. No contact required. Check. Or my personal favorite, Target School List Assist. Check off your kids' actual class list in a click and have it shipped to your door. Check and check. This year, check everything off the list with easy and contactless ways to get ready for school. Only at Target. Restrictions may apply.
O'Reilly. Superstart batteries exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts are designed to meet the electrical demands of today's vehicles. Get dependable power and performance from a Superstart battery for your car, truck, motorcycle, lawnmower, boat, and more. Our professional parts people can help you find just what you need. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And now more Straight Talk from Straight Talk. The big wireless companies say they're the only way to get the best coverage.
Because they've got like a gajillion cell towers?
Something like that. But Straight Talk Wireless runs on those same towers, so you get the same great networks for up to 50% less.
I wonder if they're counting that one in Kickapoo, Kansas.
Oh boy. Switch today and get our unlimited plan for just $45 a month with 25 gigs at high speeds and no contract. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See straighttalk.com.
Need a U.S. passport? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Visit one of our convenient auto title locations in Huber Heights, Clayton, downtown, Moraine, and Centerville. Make us your first destination before you travel abroad. No appointments ever needed. We do passports.com for more info.
This is Dr. Mashika Roberts, Columbus Health Commissioner. The pandemic is more than a physical health issue. As parents, it's important to remember that our children are also coping with drastic life changes. 1 in 4 teens misuse a prescription drug at least once in their lifetime. We must talk to our kids about healthy coping strategies and the dangers of prescription drug misuse. Visit don'tliveinDenial.org to learn how to dispose of your leftover pills and talk to your kids about opiates.
Ritz-Hall North America LLC in Urbana has several great opportunities for you. Ritz-Hall will be conducting a hiring event at their facility on Saturday, September 12th, between 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. for on-the-spot interviews. They are seeking experienced assembly operators, welders, machine operators, and paint loaders. Starting wage up to $16 per hour. Ritz-Hall offers outstanding benefits and opportunities. Identification is required for entry access. Ritz-Hall is proud to be an affirmative action and equal opportunity employer.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com. Roofing.com.
Hey, former Navy SEAL Cade Cordley here for 4 Patriots, and I'm here to prepare you for whatever crisis comes next. Now, in an emergency, your number one priority is food. The Red Cross and FEMA suggest at least 72 hours worth of food to be crisis ready. Today, 4 Patriots has a buy one, get one free deal on their 72-hour survival food kit. To grab this buy one, get one offer for yourself, go to getmorefood.com. Go now before they're gone, getmorefood.com. That's getmorefood.com.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
The Reds are on the radio. Cincinnati Reds baseball is finally here. There are only 60 games this season, so don't miss a second of the action.
Winker hammers one to deep right field, and that is a no-doubter.
Catch every game right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Back to the famous WING studios. Here's Justin Kinner and Kev Nash.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We're streaming live at wingam.com, and of course you can watch us live at on Facebook Live, and of course on YouTube, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Follow along and tune in weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. Coming up later on tonight, we do have Reds baseball. You just heard the Reds promo, by the way. We started running that at the beginning of the season. You don't want to miss a second of the action. 60 games. By the way, 60 games. It's funny how fast 60 games goes by in a 60-game regular season, but 60 games in a 162-game regular season just seems to drag on and on. I'm kind of going to miss, we've always known 162 games is a ton, but it's a lot now. It's going to be hard to adjust to going back to a full 162-game season next year. And it's interesting. You look at the landscape of baseball right now, when you look at the runner on second base and extra innings, the DH, of course, in the National League as well as the American League, and, the double headers. I think there's a chance you see all of those come, move along with baseball heading into next season. I think you see all that stay. Who knows how all that's going to work out. I'm not a fan, though, of it in a 162-game regular season. Actually, I'm not a fan of it even now, even though, again, it's always good to be able to use COVID as an excuse for why you're doing certain things. But you play 162 games. If you play 162 games with no interruption and no double headers, that's 162 9-inning games, not including the extra inning games. But if you run into bad weather and you have all these double headers, I'm not a big fan of playing I like double headers. I'm fine with that. I'm not a fan of playing double headers as 7-inning games. That's where I'm I don't see the purpose in that. That's like in the NFL, no, that doesn't make sense. You don't do double headers in football. I'm just trying to think I don't know. You don't do makeup games in, I guess, those other sports, but it's tough to kind of come up with a comparison. But if there was, that'd be like only playing 3/4. Some teams playing 3/4 of a football game and other teams playing a full 4. I don't like that. I don't mind all the other rules. I don't mind the DH, the runner on second and extra innings. Okay, I can handle that. But I'm not a fan of the 7-inning doubleheaders.
Even now,
yeah, because look at the Cardinals. I mean, the Reds had played their 20th game of the season as the Cardinals were playing their 6th, because after that opening weekend when the season started, the Cardinals missed 2 weeks of baseball. The Reds had played 20 games or whatever it was before the Cardinals even played their 6th. So the Cardinals, to make up all those games, they're going to play all 7-inning games to make up those 15. So that's going to be 15 games that you're 15 7-inning games. I don't like that. I mean, how many games?
The wear and tears, everybody else. They don't get to go into their bullpen like everybody else. I got you.
That's where I said as far as that is concerned. But I want to talk about, last part of the show, we were talking, of course, about OBJ and the distract. And again, by the way, the jokes from yesterday, I'm over that. I mean, those are going to be part of the season moving forward. It is what it is. It's a messy situation, whatever. But we somehow got into the watch situation and how much. Oh, you were saying that you felt the Browns would have been better off with that OBJ, that the circus that was OBJ, that he played, that he was the ringleader in a lot of it. I actually thought OBJ was on his best behavior. I really don't think. I mean, OBJ sometimes becomes a problem when he's playing really well, because when he's playing really, really well, he wants you to know about it. And when he wants you to know about, and then when people around him are playing, like last year, he couldn't be OBJ, Kev, because he wasn't playing well, but no one else around him was either. So he couldn't, like, for instance, with the Giants, I didn't have a problem the way he acted with the Giants because he was balling out.
Right.
No one else was balling out. And he wanted people to just like, hey, get on my level. To me, I look at that as at times leadership, depending on how you go about it. I have no problem. Like I hate the Reds right now, who they continue to lose and lose and lose. And after the game, you have David Bell saying the same stupid stuff every time. Well, these guys, they play hard. I still believe in every guy that's in this clubhouse and blah blah blah. No play, players. They walk off the field after a loss and they come back the next day, and it's just like there's no fire, there's no drive. It drives me nuts. I like this athletes I follow to have a little drive and a little passion. That's what OBJ has. But we were talking about the potential of him being a distraction because of the watch and the cleats and everything, and we label him as a distraction. We consider him a diva. We consider him a guy that could potentially be a locker room cancer. The thing is, though, think of every wide receiver, think of every player in the NFL that we label as a locker room cancer for those same antics. Those are the same things that we ignore for current Reds pitcher who's on the mound tonight in Trevor Bauer. I'm not a Trevor Bauer guy. I can't deny the success that he has on the field. Obviously, he didn't have a great second half of the season with the Reds last year, and he's lights out, a Cy Young candidate, for what he's doing with the Reds this season. He's not going to get it because the Reds aren't going to make the playoffs and everything. You just don't, what I mean? Which should frustrate him. And I'm not saying he's not frustrated. I don't talk to Trevor Bauer. I have no clue what his feelings are, but I do feel like based on perception, Trevor Bauer is more concerned, to your point earlier about OBJ, Trevor Bauer is more concerned about his shoes in a baseball game. He's more concerned about the Astros cheating a couple seasons ago. He's more concerned about sports broadcasters being too critical of him. He is so concerned about things that have nothing to do with what is expected of him on the field and his teammates, which is to win games. He goes on this Twitter rampage the other night because he wanted to wear cleats that had In-N-Out Burger on it, or he wanted to wear cleats that had I forgot what it was. Major League Baseball wouldn't let him. Very similar situation to the OBJ thing, okay? And Trevor Bauer after the game, keep in mind the Reds lose that night. He doesn't pitch that well. The Reds lose that night. And Trevor Bauer goes on this long Twitter rampage just calling out Rob Manfred, saying how dumb Major League Baseball is and yada, yada. Now, is he wrong? No, not really. I think it is kind of weird that you change up the rules on what cleats you can and can't wear. But again, I'm not a big fan of the athletes I follow paying more attention to their fashion in the game than they are the actual result of a game. After the game that you just lost and you didn't pitch well in, you threw a temper tantrum after the game because you couldn't wear the shoes that you wanted to. The shoegate of 2020, Trevor Bauer's passionate about. So he's so passionate about what shoes he could and could not wear. But after they lose another one, when you're in a tight playoff race, when you're underachieving all season, and he's more concerned about what shoes he can and cannot wear. That's the problem I have with Trevor Bauer. He's a me guy. Here's another example. The other day, ESPN put out a graphic that was, and I don't even remember the pitchers, but they were 4 pitchers. They had their ERA, their WHIP, and all these other things, which I don't care about WHIP. I mean, if you WHIP and nay for all I care. I don't care about any of that stuff. But so they have all of these guys on there, and they have all their stats, and they're like, oh, here's the 4, if we had to guess, here's our 4 Cy Young candidates for the 2020 season. Trevor Bauer, retweets them, puts a bunch of question marks in the little emoji where they're kind of, puts the hands on his chin, and he's thinking, I'm like, why are you paying attention to that? Why does that bother you? And it bothers all athletes to sit here and act like they don't have emotions and that they don't hear what we say and that they don't pay attention to what people tweet and all that. That's bogus. They do. But again, if Baker Mayfield would have pulled that, people would be calling into our show just ripping Baker left and right. We rip OBJ for doing it. We rip wide receivers in football for doing it. Why, Reds fans, do you continue to defend Trevor Bauer? Why is it that, am I the only one that has a problem with Trevor Bauer or any Reds player being more angry and upset about not being able to wear their certain designed shoes than they are about the fact that the team continues to lose and underachieve in a season that a team spent $160 million and was expected to make the playoffs? That I have a problem with. Trevor Bauer, everything we just talked about with OBJ being a circus and being a distraction. Why? And maybe it's because it's the perception of the two different sports. I don't know. I am not a fan of why we label certain guys as locker room cancers in football, but the same type of guy that Trevor Bauer is the exact same as what we like to call locker room cancers in football. But in baseball, it's, I see it on my Facebook page. People get so fired up. Oh, well, he's trying to brand himself since Major League Baseball won't do it. What are you talking about? Major League Baseball, yes, is the worst sport at branding their stars. But Trevor Bauer, I don't care about your podcast right now. I mean, he literally did an hour-long podcast the other night complaining about the Houston Astros cheating scandal. What do you do? Who cares about that right now? Why are you so consumed with what the Astros did? One game he ripped off his T-shirt and had the Houston Astros. I'm like, why? Why is that? Again, I know why it bothers you, but why here? Why now? There's a time and place for everything, and this isn't it because your team has continued to stink it up. Your team has continued to underachieve, and maybe you have this little presence about yourself of, oh, well, I'm pitching well, so who cares? That's a me guy. And that is something that OBJ, if he was playing well last year and the Browns were losing and OBJ was all about himself off the field and not about the team on the field, because give OBJ credit last year. After every game, Baker's continuing to struggle. Yes, but he's been a great leader during practice. We've been watching him develop. He said all the right things. Trevor Bauer doesn't say the right things at all. He blames other people. He makes excuses. It's just, to me, Kev, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Is it because he's a pitcher and he's not out there every day? OBJ, like you said, he's out there every single game. He played through injury. Bauer's out there, twice a week? Is that maybe why?
No, because I felt like we did this with Yasiel Puig as well. Maybe not in Cincinnati, but when he was with the Dodgers. People couldn't stand that
he was a model citizen when he was with the Reds.
With the Reds, there was no complaint there.
The Tribe.
And so, I mean, like that's my biggest complaint. Again, and then to be fair, someone wrote on my page and said, well, do you just expect them to sit there and sulk in their misery and all that? And I'm like, well, again, that's another narrative that we have fans and media have created, that these players are just supposed to be, if they're losing, they're supposed to be sitting at home, just thinking about what they could do to make the team better. When we have bad days at our job, we don't, we try not to go home and think about our job. We try to go home and think about other things. I mean, what if people were saying, Justin, you had a crappy radio show today and you're sitting there tweeting about your golf game and blah, blah, blah. That could be a fair, reversal as far as that goes. But again, Trevor Bauer seems to be more consumed about what ESPN thinks about him as a Cy Young candidate. He seems to be more consumed with what shoes he's allowed to wear.
That's a typical athlete thing, though.
No, it's not, because apparently it's like you just sit here and rip OBJ and call it a circus.
No, I'm talking about tweeting at ESPN, not having them in the Cy Young thing. How many times do we see every time Madden comes out? I'm only at 85. What are you talking about? All my speed should be 87. Like, that's a typical athlete thing. I'm not going to wreck him for that, because that's just what athletes do. I'm not going to wreck him for his podcast, whatever. But I will wreck him for the shoe stuff. Like, dude, just go out there and pitch in the shoes that you're allowed to wear. Like, you're making this bigger than it has to be. Like, if you don't like that you can't wear these shoes, do what the NBA Players Union did. They brought it to the table, and now guess what? NBA players can go out there and wear one red shoe and one pink shoe. The league doesn't care because they negotiated it. Like, that's how I feel about that type of stuff. But like, throwing people under the bus, that's horrible. Playing with helicopters back in the playoffs when he was with the Cleveland Indians, almost cutting his finger off, that's horrible. Like, a lot of these things are just self-inflicted wounds that he's doing, not only to himself but to his own team. And being a pitcher is almost being like a wide receiver. Well, no, you know what? I take that back. It's like being a defensive back, because you're out there by yourself. You're out there on an island. Technically, if you're pitching well, you don't need anybody else. If you're a Jalen Ramsey, if you're locking down your side of the field, you're not really concerned about what's going on the far boundary. Hey, man, they're not catching no passes on my side.
You need run support. You need run support.
But in his mind, he's like, hey, man, I gave up 2 runs. Y'all can't score 3. That's what he's thinking. But this is a team sport. As an individual as baseball will make you try to believe it is, at the end of the day, it is a team sport. Like you said, you do need run support. You do need guys in the outfield making great catches. Everything's not just going to be a bouncer right to you and you turn a quick double play. Like, you do need your teammates, and him throwing his teammates under the bus is a huge problem for him. It's been a huge problem for him, and him alienating his teammates is even more of a problem.
What you're talking about Bauer, right?
Yes.
He hasn't done that this year, though. In fact, the only time I praised him is when he blew up on Joey Votto the other night. Because that's the only time I've praised, not because it was Joey Votto. Here's the deal, and I don't even think it was Joey Votto. Joey Votto made an error, and he went in the dugout and started, throwing a Bauer fit, right? Here's the deal, though. That's leadership to me. That's passion. That is somebody who, when I'm watching this Reds team,
but can they respect it from him, though?
They should, because he's the only one playing worth the damn right now. But here's the deal, too. And by the way, you can't pick and choose when you want to be a leader. So to your point, you can't just sit there and ignore the team's struggles all season. And the one day that an error is made that impacts your performance, are mad. You should be just as angry if they make an error with Sonny Gray on the mound that they do when you're on the mound. And I know that's not always the case, but it's true. So the other night when Trevor Bauer came into the dugout and started screaming at guys because of errors being played, they weren't hitting the ball, errors being. And by the way, it's not just one off night. It's been an off night. It's been how many games are we in now? So 41. So it's been 41 off nights, basically, as far as I'm concerned, as we sit here, and it looks like they're not going to make the playoffs. By the way, Doug Toby says maybe we can make a trade with the Yankees and get Aaron effing Boone for David Bell, since it's coaching, not the Reds' 208 batting average or the Yankees' injuries. Yankees 21-21. Doug, I saw you defending David Bell the other day, and I'm going to tell you like this. Why did the Oklahoma City Thunder move on from their head coach right now? I mean, couldn't you have argued that, hey, it's not his fault. It's not Donovan's fault that they didn't score more points than the other team. It's not his fault that they couldn't stop the team from scoring. Why do we make up these rules for baseball managers that don't exist in sports? You could say that, Kev, think about every coach that has ever been fired in the history of sports. You could literally make the same excuse that everyone, including Doug Toby, is making for David Bell. You could honestly sit there and say, well, I don't know why they moved on from this coach. I mean, it's not his fault they weren't scoring points. That's what they're saying. Oh, it's not David Bell's fault that the Reds are hitting 208. Oh, it's not so-and-so's fault that their team's averaging only 80 points per game. We can play that game all day. Bottom line is, Doug, David Bell is responsible for the team's performance. And they were under 500 last year. They're under 500 this year. They didn't make the playoffs last year, and they had talent last year, not as much as this year, and yet you're still going to finish second to last in that embarrassing division. That's a problem. And it's not all on David Bell. It's an organizational problem, too. I saw the other day that from 2015 to now, the Reds are the worst team in Major League Baseball. They have lost more games since 2015 than any other team in Major League Baseball, Kev. That is crazy. I would have pictured the Marlins or the Tigers to be the worst team in baseball during that stretch, and it's the Cincinnati Reds. So that's not all on David Bell, Doug, but again, I don't care about 2015 to now. I care about last year and this year. And let's be clear, if you think back to this past decade, if you think back to 2014, 2013, the rebuild started. That's when they started shipping guys out. 2014, that's when everything kind of started going to hell a little bit. They were making all those trades and replenishing their farm system. David Bell, since 2014, has the most talented roster in the last decade. On paper, actually, this roster looks better than what the Reds had in the early 2010s when they were making the playoffs. And I saw someone the other day say, oh, yeah, I'm so glad Dusty Baker's not here. Dusty Baker would have rolled him back out there. Dusty Baker made the playoffs. Dusty Baker won games. Dusty Baker is about to take his fifth team to a playoff. No other manager in the history of baseball has taken 5 different teams to a playoff. Dusty Baker is about to do that. So please, Reds fans, you sound foolish. Stop praising David Bell for losing and ripping a guy like Dusty Baker who all he does is win. Sure, he's the Andy Reid. Andy Reid at least got to pull that little title off. And Andy Reid was like that too. He's a winner everywhere he goes. He wins a lot of games. Can't get it done in the playoffs. He obviously put an end to that last year. Maybe Dusty Baker at some point gets it done with the Astros, of course, without the help of trash cans, of course. So there's that. No, Doug, I see what you're saying. Well, but Doug, help me out here. Why are we, if it's not his fault, if it's not David Bell's fault, Doug, for the Reds hitting 208, then what is it? So if the Reds are hitting above 350, we praise David Bell when the team's hitting well. Why can we praise David Bell when the team's playing well, but we can't blame him when they're not playing well? That doesn't make sense. You can't have it both ways. I look at David Bell the way I do any other manager or coach in any other sport. If the team's winning, good for them. It's because the manager or the coach. If the team's losing, good for them. It's because the manager or the coach. It's the bottom line. And I don't want to hear it. David Bell has more talent than any other Reds manager since Dusty Baker. And he's not getting the job done. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. He should be ashamed of himself. More than Brian Price. I promise you that much. Hour 2 next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Napa know-how. Get all the quality parts you need at your locally owned Napa. Because right now, when you order from Napa online, you can pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Or get your order delivered direct to your door with free one-day shipping and over 160,000 quality parts when you spend $35 or more. Quality parts delivered quickly and safely. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating stores, standard ground shipping and exclusions apply.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Ask for it at your local automotive retailer.
What do you want a da-da-da? What do y'all want a da-da-da? I have no idea what a da-da-da. We could switch to Progressive da. Oh, yeah? We could switch to Progressive and sa. We could sa and have to buy some za. Oh, yeah. Let's switch to Progressive da and get some za with the money we saw. Yeah. Now we know we're gonna da-da-da.
These days, nothing is normal and everything is weird. But you could still save big when you switch to Progressive. It might just be the most normal thing you da-da-da.
Quote da at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We've got you. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got you covered. We're the only place you can find Duralast, the batteries more consumers choose. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination, where help is always in stock. Claims based on a proprietary consumer study and data from the MPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
Reds and Cubs, 8:15 tonight, 7:45 the pregame right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. Reds get shut out last night, waste another great performance from Tyler Mahle. In fact, 7 innings. Again, he gave up 3 runs real early. But man, just overall after that initial attack by the Cubs early on, just a very well pitched game from the Reds. Again, just no run support whatsoever, and this team just continues to look lackadaisical. And by the way, I get it, no run support, but they have guys that they should be scoring runs. Castellanos, Boustakis, Eugenio Suarez, Joey Votto, Winker. There's no excuse. This isn't Josh Van Meter. All right, this isn't this isn't all Davidson. This isn't like a lineup like what Brian Price had when he was here. All right, these are actual all-stars. These are actual legit players. Eugenio Suarez, Mike Boustakis, Castellanos. To go back to this too, by the way, so we started talking about, some Reds fans who are continuing to defend David Bell. It frustrates me because they are giving him a pass. I don't get it, because if the team is playing well, everyone's going to be like, oh man, David Bell's pushing all the right buttons. But when they're not playing well, apparently those buttons don't exist. So the buttons only exist when the things are going well. there's only buttons to push when things are going well, but when things are going bad, I mean, why don't you push those same buttons? Figure it's your job as a manager to find those buttons. It's not really, I mean, so Doug Toby back on Facebook again responds with Sparky Anderson could not have won with the Big Red Machine if they had a 208 batting average. Okay, that's great. Phil Jackson would not have won an NBA championship with the Bulls if Michael Jordan averaged 15 points a game, but that didn't happen because, again, Phil Jackson had that team ready to play. I'm not comparing this Reds team to the 96 Bulls or the 90s Bulls. I'm just saying, like, you can, I mean, again, if Sparky Anderson, by the way, didn't have the Big Red Machine playing like the Big Red Machine, that's on Sparky Anderson. This isn't a rebuilding team. This is the final product. The rebuild didn't work. You spent a bunch of money. You brought talent in, and it's not working. And I keep seeing things on Twitter about, oh, the Reds are just unlucky. No, just bad luck. No, like, okay, let's be clear. There could be some things within a game that are bad luck. You know, you can have a ball, you know, and by the way, they were talking the other night about, oh man, what bad luck. They had the shift on and they got a hit that went to the left side of the field. That's not bad luck. That's stupidity. The shift is stupid to begin with. I mean, let's just be clear as far as that's concerned. And it's not stupid. It works, and it only works because the hitters are stupid, because the hitters continue to try to hit into the strong side of the shift instead of, you know, laying down a bunt or trying to hit it to the opposite side of the field, which, by the way, is not as easy as it's, you know, there's a reason they do the shift. It's because it's not as simple as just trying to hit the ball up the left side of the field. But at the same time, you could bunt the ball every single time up the left side of the field and be safe every single time, and they choose not to. But am I wrong on this? Kev, am I being too hard on David Bell? Like Sparky Anderson, according to Doug, says Sparky Anderson would not have won with the Big Red Machine if they had a 208 batting average, which is what this Reds team has. I know what he's trying to say, that they're not winning because they're not hitting. But that would be like, well, then the Browns should not have fired Freddie Kitchens last year because, you know, the Browns only didn't win because they weren't getting good quarterback play. So it wasn't on Freddie Kitchens. It was on, no, he got fired because they lost. That's what always happens. When you lose, you get fired for it. Your job is to win games. It doesn't matter if you use a calculator. It doesn't matter if you use spreadsheets. It doesn't matter if you have a binder. It doesn't matter if you have an iPad. Win games. If you win games, no one's talking about. The only reason we're talking about David Bell on the hot seat is because he's losing games. For instance, Doug, you brought up the Yankees and their injuries. The Yankees are 21-21. Keep in mind, they're at least winning. They have an excuse why they're not winning. They're injured. Moustakas is playing. Castellanos is playing. Eugenio Suarez is playing. Sonny Gray is pitching. Trevor Bauer is pitching. Like, the Reds really aren't banged up. You know, they had guys miss some games. Of course, you're going to miss games. They've had guys miss games, but there's been no like brutal injuries to this team. There's no excuse. If your excuse is, well, it's not David Bell's fault, his players just aren't playing well. You know how many coaches who have been fired would love to go back and say, oh, it's not my fault, the players just aren't playing well. It doesn't work that way. It has never worked that way in the history of sports. It's not going to work that way now. And why are we defending David Bell again?
Better managers or coaches have been fired for less than David Bell. You look at how they're playing. You know, a manager or coach is part of his job is to motivate guys. They don't seem motivated. They seem just like going out there, going through the motions. You bring up Phil Jackson and the ability to coach a Michael Jordan and push the right buttons with a Michael Jordan, get him to, all right, hey man, you can still score 40 points a game and keep losing in the first and second round, or score 30 points a game and swing it to the open guy. How about doing that? He listened. They won championships. Hey, Kobe, you can keep jacking up all these crazy acrobatic shots, or, you can give it to the big man down low. They won championships. Like, it's all, I know it seems simple, but that's part of their job. And, a lot of jobs aren't easy. And being able to manage egos is part of their job. Putting players in the right position for them to display their talents is also part of their job. And when they're not, it all falls back on you because you are the person in charge. He's the guy in charge. He's the one filling out the lineup every day. He's saying who's pitching and who's not pitching. He's making all the changes. So ultimately, it is on him. That's like playing video games and saying you throw an interception and say, oh, man, that's not supposed to happen. Well, you pushed the button. You pushed A instead of B, and it got intercepted. So it's on you. It's not on the system. It's on you. It's on him. It ultimately comes down to him. If he's going to be a quote unquote, however you want to call it, fall guy for this situation, so be it, because they need some type of spark. And that's the same thing happens all across every sport. when you have a team that is talented, they change coaches to get a spark out of a talented roster. That happens all the time. I'm not like the big Reds fan like you are that is knee deep and know the whole ins and outs. But I've been watching the Reds a lot more since I started doing this show with you. It just seems like they're flat all the time, dude. And it's just like, well, it's obvious to me what they need to do. They need a spark. And if the spark is switching the manager, so be it. I mean, you want to win games, right? You want to go to the playoffs at least, right? Like, I don't know why people are just like bent over shape over him like that. I don't get it. Like, it ain't like he's won a whole bunch of championships. It'd be different, like, you know, when people were trying to run Bobby Bowden and Joe Paul up out of town. Man, they're championship coaches and everything like that. They brought us championships and they're an institution at this place. He ain't no institution there. He just showed up. If you're not winning games, you're not winning games.
Yeah, I you know, it is what it is. And 457-9464. Kev, if you get that, the phone, we'll get to some of your calls. Of course, we are live on Facebook as well. Head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show, and tune in. And I guess I'm curious, am I being too hard on David Bell? Because here, and again, you're probably just like, man, every time I tune in, he's saying the same thing because nothing's changed. The Reds have won. I mean, if you look at where the Reds are right now, I mean, they're nowhere close to. I mean, you could sit there and say, oh, they're a few games out of the wild card. You do believe that we're under 20 games. We're under 20 games right now remaining in the regular season. And you do know how hard it is to make up games. You have to rely on not just, you know, you have to win games, which has been tough for the Reds this whole stretch, but you also have to rely on other teams going down as well. When you have to rely on other teams to help you. And by the way, this is a team that, you know, why are the Marlins in the hunt? The Tigers are in the hunt. Why are all these teams that should not be in the hunt are in the hunt? And the team that is not supposed to be in the hunt is not in the hunt. Like, that's a problem. That's on the manager. And it's not. I'm not saying this because it's David Bell. I would be saying this if it was Dusty Baker. I would be saying it if it was Joe Girardi. I would be saying it no matter who the manager is. It's not even about David Bell. It's just about that position. It's as a manager, it's your responsibility. And I don't care about the 208 batting average because you know what? What role, Doug, and I'm curious, you don't think David Bell plays any role in the Reds batting average at all? You don't think that it's the way he can, constructs a lineup? You don't think it's the fact that he continues to put Joey Votto lead off despite hitting in the low 200s? You don't think it has anything to do with that? You don't think it has anything to do with Shogo Akiyama being a true lead up? Well, his numbers haven't backed it up. But again, is it because one day he's leading off, the next day he's batting sixth, the next week he's off for a week? I mean, you don't think that has anything to do with it? You don't think it has anything to do? You go and you make a trade for Archie Bradley. You trade for Archie Bradley, and the only reason you traded for Archie Bradley is because you were not confident in your closer in Iglesias anymore. So then what do? You get Archie Bradley and you continue to go to Iglesias over and over and over. He won you a game the other night, but he lost you two the previous before that. That's on David Bell. All those decisions come back on the manager. And by the way, if the Reds win those games because of his decisions, we praise him. And when they lose the games because of his decisions, we criticize him. It's not that hard. Let's go to Charlie, 457-9464. Charlie, what's up, man?
Justin, when's the last time the Reds inspired you as a fan?
Inspired me. I was really excited when they pulled the trade off to get Yasiel Puig and those guys last year because it felt like they had seen enough of the losing and they were ready to kind of, start putting some talented pieces on this roster. I'm not really down on ownership. I think that the ownership did their part in the offseason, and David Bell, he hasn't lived up to his end.
Man, I agree. The Yasiel Puig situation, I know he didn't bring it, but man,
are you sure about that? He didn't bring it? He's brung it more than any of these guys this year.
The reason I bring it up is Puig was the first time I'd been inspired in years, and it's Joey Votto. I know he's on track for Hall of Fame and all that. He's not a leader. He's not going to get up and rally the troops. And David Bell doesn't seem like that kind of a guy either. And I just think that not only am I and you, like anybody who watches the Reds, is so uninspiring to watch. Imagine what it's like in the clubhouse. Like, it's just your best players just like, all right, let's go play. It's like, where's Brandon Phillips? Where's Yasiel Puig? We don't have any leaders. We don't have anybody exciting that gets the team. I don't even want them to go to the playoffs because it's so dreadful to watch. But Bell's got to go, and so does Votto, man. Like, come on, dude.
I don't think Bell has to go. I think that Bell, for one, he's obviously going to finish this season. I do believe he should get a shot at next season. This whole season has been very wonky to begin with, from the season not even starting until July or late July, from all of those things. I'm okay with David Bell coming back for another year, but my biggest concern is the fact that the Reds are losing games in the same way that they lost last year, and they have more talent. This team has talent. Bottom line, someone just texted into the show and said, well, you know, if they don't have talent, otherwise they would be winning games. That's not true. That's why we ripped LeBron James that the first finals he got to when he was with the Miami Heat, when they lost to the Dallas Mavericks. What did we criticize? Why? We criticized it because he had talent. It's not that the Mavericks played better. They had a better team. That was still up for debate. That's how it is here. The expectations were there for the Reds to win because they have talent. And the fact that Brian Price had more of an excuse as to why he lost than David Bell does. Brian Price lost because they had no talent. David Bell's losing with talent. And I'm going to say it every day, and I've said it every day this year. That's the real embarrassing thing about all of this.
Yeah, and they've gotten rid of everybody that has personality on the team. And as a fan, that matters to me.
Everybody?
It's just
Bauer's
not fun
still
to
there.
watch. It's not that fun to watch, man. It's not. It really isn't. And it's just a bummer. And I guess it's just as much what it must be what it feels like to be a Browns fan.
We were doing so good.
Justice, because I feel bad for you, because it's like you got the Browns, Cowboys, and Reds. You got to watch all this. And now they're talking about how great Dak's going to be, and he's going to be like an MVP candidate. That's going to be so rough for you when that doesn't happen.
How good? Who's going to be?
Everybody's saying Dak.
I mean, look, I'm not against. I'm against Dak asking for the same kind of money as Russell Wilson and other quarterbacks who have been to Super Bowls. That's the problem I have with Dak Prescott asking for that much money. Hey, if Dak leads the Cowboys to a Super Bowl and then he asks for that money, I'll be his biggest fan at that point. I'm just not going to sit there and wave the support flag for a guy that hasn't done enough to deserve the money that the other guys who got the money were able to accomplish. That's all. Like when people said, "Oh man, you look at Deshaun Watson, what he accomplished." I mean, that's huge for Dak Prescott. Is it? We don't know yet. I mean, the Cowboys have not committed to that.
Better than Dak Prescott.
I agree with that. I agree with you on that.
Dak Prescott is no better than the guy sitting on the bench behind him. And you know that, and I know that. That's a fact.
I've never said Dak's bad, but Charlie, adios, man. We got to go. I've never said Dak is bad. Dak's really, really good. I just never put him in that 38 to 40 million category. That's all. That was my biggest. I've never once told you Dak's not good. All I've told you is that what has he done to put himself in the category with a Russell Wilson, and obviously a Patrick Mahomes, and now even a Lamar Jackson who's at least won an MVP. Now Deshaun Watson technically hasn't done all the things that those other guys have done, but Deshaun Watson has gotten to the playoffs and won just as many games with less talent. Dak has had more talent than those guys and yet continues to miss the playoffs and underachieve. That's my point. His numbers are good, though. We'll be back in a moment. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon is going to be mainly clear and sunny with a high near 91. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 66. And tomorrow's going to be mostly sunny with a high near 86. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces around your home, office, or commercial property. Crack filling, asphalt sealing, and parking lot striping. Find us at culletsealcoating.com.
To make sure the air in your home is absolutely perfect, call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning. They're offering $1,350 in rebates plus payments as low as $132 a month on a new Lennox system. Call 937-222-8638 today. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Ohio license number 14911.
Hi folks, it's me again, and I'm cooking in the sun just like you are. But you know, you can still plant those trees and shrubs right now, and with proper watering, still gain a full summer's growth. We keep our garden center fully stocked all summer long with thousands of good, healthy trees, shrubs, evergreens, perennials, and annuals, because we know that some folks just can't get it all done in the spring. Also, this time of year, there are lots of bargains all over our 6-acre nursery and greenhouses. We have potted rose bushes as low as $14.95, plats of annuals starting at $12.95, and hanging baskets as low as $6.95. We still have a great selection of Rose of Sharon, boxwoods, hydrangeas, and barberry. So come out to 1309 Brent Pike, and remember, we're open 7 days.
Not so long ago, lots of things made people happy.
I used to love going to the gym.
I miss saying good morning to my coworkers. Today, there are still things that can make people happy.
Oh, how pretty.
A beautiful bouquet of flowers will definitely make someone happy.
First Florist and Greenhouses can help you make someone happy. Go to firsttheflorist.com, choose a bouquet, and they'll deliver it safely. Make someone happy with First Florist and Greenhouses.
Sports injury, low back pain, or are you interested in improving your performance and getting to the next level? Orion Sports Medicine is truly a unique sports medicine and physical therapy clinic and training facility. We offer a highly educated staff that has experience working with athletes from the recreational and youth levels to elite professionals. We offer services that include PT, functional assessment, wellness, fitness, return to sport, sports performance, strength and conditioning, speed and agility training, all at our state-of-the-art facility in Miamisburg. For more information on Orion Sports Medicine, visit orionsportsmedicine.com.
I'm Charla. I'm a Park National banker, and I'm a new grandma. At Park National Bank, we believe that we're more than our job titles, and you're more than an account number. Now, bringing our family of community banks together under a single brand name means you get those core values you always counted on from us, and more service, more access, and more options. We're all together now at Park National Bank, where you mean more.
It's a new season, and it's Sport Clips haircuts. All of our stylists are clean certified and guy smart. So come in and get yourself back in the game with our legendary MVP experience. It's a mancation with our hot steam towel, relaxing shampoo, and a winning cut. Check in online and walk out with confidence. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
And you be stepping out like a pro.
Goodyear knows why we all love basketball. It's the sound of the buzzer, the roar of the crowd, the swish of the net. It's the spin on the ball as it's released, the squeaking sneakers before an inbound pass, the timeout that gives us perspective on the moment. We love basketball because we love movement. And now that it's back, we're asking you, the fans, what moves you? Goodyear, more driven.
It could be a routine drive to pick up the kids after school or an epic road trip across the country. No matter where your travels take you, we know those miles count. We're Marathon. We have over 5,700 stations across our great nation. Our people are working hard every day to provide you with quality top-tier gasoline to improve engine performance and fuel your life. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We've got you. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got you covered. We're the only place you can find Duralast, the batteries more consumers choose. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination, where help is always in stock. Claims based on a proprietary consumer study and data from the MPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
My husband, Alex Hutsey, was hit by an IED in Afghanistan.
I was playing man in foot patrol, and I slept on the bomb. Lost my legs and left hand in an explosion.
DAV helps veterans of every generation to get the benefits they've earned.
To see Alex learning to snow ski, that's life-changing.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories great and small.
This has meant so much. Thank you, DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
There's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
If finding a high-impact hire is a goal for your business, use Indeed. You'll find lots of great candidates and no long-term contracts at Indeed.com/high-impact.
The biggest local and national guests sit down for the biggest interviews with Justin Kinner on 1410 Wing Live, presented by Arrowhead Tax Service. Follow along live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page and catch all previous episodes at wingam.com. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Wednesday. So coming up here in about a half hour, our NFL Pro Pick'em Challenge at wingam.com will be live. I mean, I can't believe it. Tomorrow, the week one of the NFL season officially kicks off. We're going to have, of course, the Houston Texans sorry, I can't speak today. The Houston Texans going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. You're going to have Patrick Mahomes, the reigning Super Bowl MVP, going up against, of course, Deshaun Watson, who is now the second highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. So we're excited about that. And again, you'll be able to submit your weekly picks at wingam.com. Get those in here within the next half hour. That'll be officially live on our website at wingam.com. So just giving you a heads up as far as that's concerned. We're getting that finalized right now as we currently speak. Let's go to the comment section on Facebook. Ron Moreland says, Justin, you are right about David Bell. And with that, and the sad thing about it is Zach Taylor will be the same. We get these guys because they are cheap. To be fair, David Bell deserves the Reds job and 1,010% more than Zach Taylor deserved the Bengals job, to be clear. David Bell, I didn't mind the David Bell hire. I'm not going to sit here and act like I thought the Reds made a mistake from the very beginning. I would have preferred Joe Girardi, not just saying that because it hasn't worked out with David Bell this far. I was not against the David Bell hire. I actually really liked the hire back when it happened. My opinion is strictly based on the results of what we have seen. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as that's concerned. I think David Bell knows the game like you wouldn't believe. I have no doubt about it. But there's just something, the right buttons are not being pushed. Bottom line. And by the way, I don't hate the Reds. The reason I'm so angry is because I had such high expectations, and it's frustrating. I am just like, I think, in going back and forth with Doug on Facebook and some other Reds fans, ultimately the back and forth that we all do, it's ultimately because we all want the same thing. We just want this team to win. Yes, I know the Reds are hitting 208 as a team. I don't want them to hit 208 as a team. We all want the same thing. I don't want to bash David Bell every day. I wanted a reason to say, hey, I was wrong about David Bell. And trust me, I'm wrong about stuff every day. This is the one thing I'm actually hoping I ultimately end up being wrong about, big picture. He should not be fired by the end of the season. I don't think a shortened COVID season, an underachieving team in a shortened COVID season should lead to a guy losing his job. But I do believe he deserves a third year. And I think he's going to get that third year. I don't think the seat is as hot as what myself and others are portraying it out to be, but something needs to change. The thing is, though, I look at that roster, there's really nothing I want to change. I mean, the numbers show, if everyone's all about numbers, Mike Moustakas, it's a hell of a hitter, hell of a power hitter. Eugenio Suarez nearly won the home run title last year. We know what he's capable of doing. Castellanos, he was like lightning in a bottle at the beginning of the season. He's kind of fizzled out, but again, we still get spurts of him. This team can pitch. They can hit. The bullpen has not been what we thought it was going to be, but we've been able to kind of develop. Like, I'm a big fan of Sims. I like the kid out of Northern Kentucky. That's really good. Like, there's some guys that they've been able to really get a good feel on. It just depends on what that does mean, or what that means heading into next season. And by the way, Doug just revealed his problem. He said that Schlemmer had taught him everything he knows. And of course, he put a bunch of laughing emojis out of there. So there's that. He goes, Doug Toby says, you don't produce. I agree. He will be fired, but it's not all his fault. The 208 average, I repeat, football is a little different than baseball. Kitchens had a discipline problem. He had a discipline problem, Doug. He also had, let's be clear, to be fair on this too. I'm not comparing David Bell to Freddie Kitchens because once again, the difference is David Bell deserves the Reds job 1,010% more than Freddie Kitchens deserved the Browns job. Zach Taylor should not be the head coach of the Bengals, and Freddie Kitchens should have never been the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. I will continue, despite me being critical of David Bell. David Bell deserves the Reds job. He deserves to be a manager in Major League Baseball. both can be true, though. I can say that he has done a horrible job as manager and still believe he was a good hire at the time. It just hasn't worked out this far. Maybe it will at some point. We are just not producing, says Doug on Facebook. I have coached and or played baseball for 45 years and never won with the team batting under 230. Schlummer taught me everything I know. So there you go. Shout out to Schlummer. Shout out to Doug Toby on that one. But no, and Doug, I get what you're saying too. Yes, the Reds, I mean, when you're talking about why the Reds are losing, it's because, yes, they are not producing, no run support. They're not hitting the ball well. And when they are able to produce runs, the bullpen and the, pitching staff aren't getting it done all on the same night. But at the same time, you could look at any coach that was ever fired in the history of sports and say, well, that team was bad because they didn't have scoring. That team was bad because they didn't have good quarterback play. That team was bad because they didn't have good post presence in basketball. We could do that in every sport, but ultimately it always comes back on the coach or manager. To repeat, though, I do, and no matter how much it may seem like it, I don't hate David Bell. I'm just angry because this team's not producing under David Bell. I don't, Kev. I don't. When this team's playing well, I want them to play well.
I tried to hold in my laugh.
I mean, again, we'll see. Now, if they were winning and in first place and I was still complaining about, because that's what I've said from the get-go. I'm not the advanced analytics and everything else, the third time through the order, all those things. If he was doing all those things and they were winning, I would say, well, I don't like his managerial style, but hey, at least he's winning. Right now, I don't like his managerial style and they're losing. So it's easier for me to say, haha, I know what I'm talking about. Prove that I'm wrong. Everyone else does. Kevin loves to prove when I'm wrong.
Oh, yes. I'm always locked and loaded.
All right. Let's take a look at some of the top headlines around the world of sports. How about this, Kevin? You were Pittsburgh Steelers, and for you Buckeye fans, this was inevitable, but Ryan Chazier officially announced his retirement from the National Football League more than 1,000 days after suffering a severe spinal cord injury that initially left him unable to walk. Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Ryan Chazier is officially retiring from football. Kev, he's 2 years younger than me. He's only 28 years old, retiring after that injury. It's unfortunate.
That's just a reminder, man, how devastating and how violent the game of football is. These injuries like this.
But we can't play football because of the flu. Carry on.
It's a reminder how devastating and violent the game football is. I'm surprised injuries like this don't happen more often. As much as these guys are banging into each other, these devastating hits going across the middle, offensive linemen and defensive linemen banging heads the entire game. I'm surprised this doesn't happen more often. Injuries like this. I'm happy he regained his ability to walk, play with his children and everything like that. I'm just happy he's able to walk away from the game. I'm just happy for him. It could have been a lot worse. There's other people, we hear about high school kids being paralyzed because of injuries like this, and he's lucky enough to be able to still be walking.
Yeah, Keith Byers earlier today on his show mentioned the fact that he was able to dance at his wedding.
Yeah.
And those are we could talk about the negative and how his career came to an end, but there's so many more positive things that have happened since then. And we're pulling for Ryan Chazier. He's always going to be a fan favorite, regardless of the fact that he was a Pittsburgh Steeler or not. I could at least say he's my favorite Pittsburgh Steeler of all time, as far as that's concerned. On to the next one. How about this? LSU is allowing nearly 26,000 fans at games, and that's about 25% as far as the capacity plan is concerned. Look, nothing surprises me anymore out of the SEC. And look, are they wrong?
No tailgating, though.
No tailgating, which wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They're saying no tailgating, but are they going to have people out there policing the streets, making sure? Who knows? There's always loopholes. I don't mean this in a bad way because, if the Big Ten was playing, we'd be talking about it in the same nature. I don't think it's bad. Look, they want 26,000 fans in the stands. Good for them. The fans, for those who aren't comfortable going out during this, don't go. No one is saying that, hey, we are forcing everyone in the world to attend LSU, Alabama, and everyone else's game. They're letting fans in. Fans want to go and attend the games. Fine. It's no different than restaurants. Why? And that's the thing too. I'm not going to vilify LSU for wanting 26,000 fans at their games. Why? That would be like us getting mad at restaurants for letting people in there. It's a business. At the end of the day, we don't like it because we try to talk about the amateurism of it, but it's a business. And if there's a way, if we could find ways to let people go dine in at restaurants, then why are we going to get mad at LSU because they're only going to let 25% capacity? So I have no problem with it. And if Ohio State was playing, I would have no problem if there was 25,000 fans at the shoe. Would like more. But it is what it is. I saw so many people running with this and being pissed on social media today because that's what you do on social media. But I didn't have a problem with it. Okay, if you're playing football, why not?
It's to be expected. I mean, they have fans in the stands at high school football. Why wouldn't you have fans in the stands in college football? It's to be expected. Now, I may differ on the whole thing of fans being at games or if we should be playing at all, but the fact of the matter is we are playing. And if they're playing, then there should be fans there because they're having fans everywhere else.
Rams and cornerback Jalen Ramsey agreed to a 5-year, $105 million contract extension. Keep in mind, this is a strange development with the Rams because remember yesterday we were taking a look at the NFC standings. Not the NFC standings. This was, and for those watching on Facebook, ESPN simulated the entire 2020 season. And what they ended up coming up with is that the 49ers, who were in last year's Super Bowl, would win the NFC West with an 11-5 record, but they would be tied with the Rams at 11-5. And the only two teams to make the playoff out of ESPN's simulated NFL season in 2020, the only two teams making the playoffs out of that division are the Rams and the Niners, not the Seahawks. Not the Seahawks. So the Rams, who no longer have Todd Gurley, the Rams who no longer, they moved on from Cooks, they've lost so much talent, but all their talent and money, Kev, has been put into that defense. Jalen Ramsey, who they gave up an awful lot. Mm-hmm. Actually, that's good for them because it would have been worse. They don't have like a draft pick until like 2023 or something like that. They have like 2 or 3 straight drafts where they have no picks in the first round. And you gave up all of that to be able to get a Jalen Ramsey. If you would have lost him and you had no first-round picks for the next couple of years, that would have been brutal. So I have no problem with them. And for one, even if they did, that wasn't the case, good for them. This is just good for the Rams because if they would have lost him after giving up all those first-round draft picks and not having a Super Bowl to show for it, that would have been a problem. At least they can say, yeah, we don't have any first-round draft picks, but you know what? We were not going to be able to draft a Jalen Ramsey in that stretch. So you know what? I'm fine with it. I like this. Good for them. Putting the money in the defense. There's not offensive weapons for them to go out and get right now. No Todd Gurley. They move on from Cooks. They still have Jared Goff. I think there's a big question mark as far as just where he falls within the tiers of quarterbacks in the NFL. We'll see. But good for the Rams, and most importantly, good for Jalen Ramsey. $21 million a year. He's the highest paid player. He's the highest paid defensive player outside of Aaron Donald on this roster right now.
Yikes. I mean, they got a loaded defense. I mean, you talked about Jalen Ramsey. They got Taylor Rapp, obviously Aaron Donald. They got playmakers at every level of the defense. It's just a matter of if the offense is going to be able to score points like they did in previous years because last year they weren't able to score anything. So we'll see.
Last week, Steve Nash got the Nets coaching job. And Stephen A. Smith accredited it to white privilege. Mm-hmm. And I bring that up not to start stirring the pot or trying to get to that. I bring that up because my concern is every time a white player every time a white coach gets a job, are we, I fear that it's going to become uncomfortable to where we're always talking about that, instead of being happy, But it concerns me because Ty Lue is the favorite to get the Sixers job. At least that was until about 5 p.m. yesterday when the Oklahoma City Thunder decided to move on from Coach Billy Donovan. And, of course, everybody assumed right away, oh, good, he can go back to college. I would love him to go back to college. But he wants to stay in the NBA. And now reports are coming out that just came across one a little bit ago that the favorite to get the Sixers job is most likely going to be Billy Donovan. And I wonder if it's going to lead to, are we going to have that same kind of discussion about that? I don't want it to be, have a white privilege discussion every time a white coach gets hired. But I bring this up on purpose for an interesting dilemma here because the Pacers have a job opening. Mm-hmm. They moved on from an African-American coach.
Yeah.
Ty Lue is a guy that you would think is going to land a job. He may not land a job. Again, the Pacers. You have any idea who the favorite is to land the Pacers job?
I cheated because I saw this story. Becky Hammon.
Becky Hammon from the Spurs coaching staff, and I'm curious your thoughts on that. And again, not trying to make this about race. I'm bringing it up because I am curious every time a white coach is hired, are we going to talk about that? But Becky Hammond's an interesting one because,
she got more coaching experience than Steve Nash.
Yeah. And she's
more championships.
By the way, there is not one single tiny little eensy beensy thing wrong with Steve Nash's hire. Not one. I can't, even though I was trying to make notes and just try to spin it into that, and I couldn't do it. The Donovan one, I would be a little bit more questionable about the Billy Donovan one because
he's coaching the NBA. He's coaching the league for this was his 6th, 7th year in the league.
The reason is because the reports that were out there was that and I guess Ty Lue was tied to the Nets job, but no, that one's different because Kevin Durant was adamant that he wanted Steve Nash.
Right.
That's what makes that a little different. The Sixers, no one's come out and said, I want Ty Lue. But no one's also come out and said, I want Billy Donovan. So if the organization that had been rumored to go out and get Ty Lue all of a sudden ends up with Billy Donovan, I could see why that story would unravel into that more so than what was deserving of the Nets hiring of Steve Nash as far as that's concerned. The Becky Hammond one with the Pacers, which, by the way, I don't think happens. I think we're getting closer and closer to that happening. I just don't think we're there yet. And I don't mean that in a way like, oh, I'm not ready for a woman coach. I'm just saying, like, I think that, you're going to see her get a lot of interviews, and you're going to see, because of PR stuff. I don't know. I'm very curious which team will be the first one to pull the trigger on that with Becky Hammond. And, and eventually we'll get to the point where we're not talking about it in those regards of, will they hire a woman coach? Will they hire a black coach? It is what it is at this point.
If you're Ty Lue and say these spots are open, say it's Indiana, say it's Philly, say it's the Rockets when they're done losing to the Lakers, which spot would interest you the most?
That's the thing too, and Stephen A brought that up. The reason he was mad is because Steve Nash got a championship team basically handed in his lap. And by the way, they can't be a championship team, because if you're saying they're a championship team, that means you are putting Kyrie in a category that I don't think he is. I think he's really, really good, but I have not, since that year that the Cavs won an NBA championship, which, by the way, it's going to be 4 years ago by the time that the season actually gets here and he steps foot on the floor with Kevin Durant. He has not been the same player since. And I'm not talking about skill-wise. I'm talking about mentally-wise. He's changed, and I'm not being like, I'm not, again, got to be sensitive with how you use those words now, but you know what I'm saying. He's just different. He's very sensitive. He distances himself from his teammates, from the organization. Teams get better when he leaves. That's a problem. And the Nets weren't that good with him. They got a little better after. They were better last year without him. He comes in, they don't play as well, even though they should have been, way better than what they were even without Kevin Durant, and that wasn't the case. The Celtics were supposed to be way better with them. They were worse with them, and then now they're on the verge of potentially getting to, the Eastern Conference Finals and knocking on the door of the NBA Finals. So Kyrie, I'm not ready to put him in that category. But again, what Stephen A was talking about is, Steve Nash got handed a potential NBA Finals team, especially out of the East. At least you can at least say that. But there's no other team. I mean, no African-American coach has been handed a team like what Steve Nash was handed. But I don't think that's what's being discussed behind closed doors. Well, this is a championship team. We can't give it to an African-American coach. Let's give it to a white coach.
Steve Nash got that job because Kevin Durant wanted it.
Yep. Bottom line.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. We, right now, the day and age we live in, when you do what your stars want.
Call it Kevin Durant privilege.
Yeah.
That's exactly
AD
what it
privilege.
is.
How about
that's
that?
what it is. He wanted him, so they got him. And ultimately, you can rank KD however you want to and your best players in the NBA. There's no question that he's the top 5 player in today's game. When your top 5 player in the NBA wants a said coach, you get said head coach. It's as simple as that. Back to the Ty Lue thing. If I'm Ty Lue, man.
I never answered your question. Sorry.
No, you're good.
If I'm him, I stay with the Clippers another year. The OKC job, you're not winning there. And that's not a Ty Lue thing. That's anybody.
No, I wouldn't touch the OKC situation just because I think they've maxed out what they're going to do, because they're basically going to be rebuilding. They gave it one last run with bringing in Chris Paul, and they, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's a very good basketball player. He's a young guy, but I think what they were talking about today on ESPN, potentially Chris Paul ending up with the Bucks would be pretty cool. I think they're just going to tear it down and go strictly young, and they'll find somebody else. But if I'm Ty Lue, you probably have to go to the most talented team. And on paper, it's Philly. On paper, it's Philly, but just like guys that are going to play hard and are going to be available to play. Oladipo's going to be available to play. Warren's going to be available to play. Like, the guys on that team play hard and they're available. You don't always get that from Philly. You don't get hard playing guys on Philly. And they're not always hurt too. The hard playing guy from Philly plays for the Heat now, Jimmy Butler, and he's in the Eastern Conference Finals. So I would probably go to the team with more talent and try to force a way to try to get me some shooters on that team. Try to dump Tobias Harris or something like that, because they need shooting on that team. So, I mean, Ty Lue, I think he'll get a job. I don't think the NBA runs in that same way that the NFL does, that, oh, man, he's on the coaching staff, he can't interview for a job. They kind of try to keep you forever type of situation. I think the NBA is more, hey, man, go do your thing. You helped us win a championship, or you helped us go as far as we could go. Go ahead, go be a coach somewhere. So I think Ty Lue will be in the head coach spot next year.
You bring up a good point about the Sixers, because yes, that's an easy one, man. For all the openings, oh, absolutely, you go there. But the thing is, the reason that the Sixers, although the reasons for why you should go there is also the reasons you shouldn't, because you know what you get with the Sixers, and that's the problem. Like, I don't know if coaching was the problem or not. But again, when the coach is responsible for getting the best out of his players, he couldn't get the best. Like, I don't think there's a coach out there that can get Embiid to not be so undisciplined off the floor, not behaviorally, like he gets in trouble, but he doesn't take care of his body.
Right.
He can't stay healthy. There's not a coach out there there's not a coach out there that's going to make him stay healthy. Obviously there's not a coach out there that's going to get Ben Simmons to be able to start knocking down 3-pointers. Maybe
to that point, Phil Jackson was able to get Shaq in the best shape of his career for a stretch run before Shaq said, forget this, back to eating bonbons and I'll get in shape during the season. So, I mean, there is a way. It's just, are the players are going to be allowed themselves to be coached and be pushed in that way? That was like the big thing about LeBron and Ty Lue. Ty Lue coached LeBron. LeBron was willing to be coached by Ty Lue and everything like that. And I mean, he has a ring. I mean, I know everybody's going to say, well, LeBron got him that ring and everything like that. Well,
I know you don't like to hear this, and people don't either, but like, you, without you hearing this as the Kinner opinion, hear it as that's the perception, and that's what hurts Ty Lue. Even if you're right. So sometimes, like, when I say things, it's not always my opinion on something. Sometimes it really is like me using what the perception is to infiltrate the topic at hand. Whether Ty Lue likes it or not, or whatever, like, and when you you look at a resume, it's like, man, Ty Lue, he led the Cavs to the finals. How many times, man? He has a championship ring, man. He led LeBron to a championship. He led LeBron to the first championship in Cleveland. Man, like, that's legendary stuff. You were the head coach of a team that won a championship in Cleveland. Like, right? And there'll probably never be a championship in the NBA won in Cleveland again, unless, you never say that, but you know my point. Okay. So the bottom line is, you look at everything he accomplished, I promise you, in a league that is not purposely not hiring African-American coaches, it's not race-related for Ty Lue, in my opinion. I believe it's perception-related. I believe that Ty Lue is perceived as like LeBron almost hurts coaches, because I don't think, like, even Spoelstra is viewed as one of the best X's and O's coaches in the NBA.
Love Spo.
But again, and this is why it's important that he leads it. If he can lead, and again, not fair of me to say this, but if he leads the Heat to the finals, another team to the finals without LeBron, then he has me sold. And I know he can coach X's and O's, but there's only certain coaches that can literally get out the best in guys. Brad Stevens, I do believe Spoelstra's in that category, but without the star, can you do it? We will see if Butler's that. But I guess what I'm saying is the perception of Ty Lue is that, and I do believe that's why teams are shying away from that. But to be fair, Steve Nash is going to be Ty Lue. If Steve Nash goes and wins a lot with the Nets, I'm not going to view Steve Nash as a better coach than Ty Lue. I'm going to view Ty Lue as better than Steve Nash because he's coached longer and he's been in coaching circles a lot longer. It's going to be interesting how that pans out. But I do believe winning a title with LeBron hurts you. I don't believe you get the respect. Like, Ty Lue is not getting the respect he deserves. Spoelstra still doesn't. I mean, he's won 2 NBA championships, and he still doesn't get the respect he deserves as far as that's concerned. That's the LeBron effect.
I'm very torn on Spo. Well, not Spo. I love Spo, but I'm torn on who I'm going to root for in the Eastern Conference Finals, because I did have the Celtics going to the NBA Finals, but I'm a huge Spo fan because of that. Because of people just saying that he just was out there with D-Wade, LeBron, and Bosh, who couldn't go to the Finals. Like, if you watched, and I don't want to get so nerdy basketball guy on you, man, but like Kelly Olynyk is out there hooping. Like, guys out there are playing some great basketball, great team basketball. If you really watch the game of basketball, like, it's almost middle school, like how they play. And many dribble handoffs as they do, like, they're really out there 5 passes before a shot type of stuff. Like, that is like ABC basketball. And he's got NBA guys doing it. Like, you don't see that. And that's why I think he's such a great coach. With all that being said, I just think the Celtics, if they are able to knock off the Raptors tonight, I think they're just more talented than the Heat. And I think they'll actually make it to the finals. But I love the NBA, man.
Speaking of the NBA, last night, the greatest of all time, LeBron James, became the all-time leader in playoff wins. Just saying.
Okay, and who did he pass?
Does it matter?
Yes, it matters.
Your guy.
Who?
Was it MJ?
No.
Who did he pass in all-time playoff wins?
Take a wild guess.
Kobe.
No.
Just tell me. I don't like that. This is why I was in college for 8 years. I'm not good. I'm a horrible guesser.
Derek Fisher.
Oh, geez, that doesn't count.
That exactly. No. It means absolutely nothing.
Oh, it means everything.
Him balling out last night means something. Everything. Him having a whole bunch
been
of
balling out.
Yeah, for sure. But the whole he got the most playoff wins in history. Oh, is Derek Fisher? Oh, well,
No, because I'm talking about like stars. Like, I mean, if we're gonna include that, I mean, you know how many role players we could include in that? I'm talking.
He was
like
a starter.
Derek Fisher was a starter. Robert Horry was a starter. No one's looking at him as an all-time GOAT.
Bench player. I'm just saying. Some stats are real. Some
Derek
stats
Fisher's
are
a
fake.
home record.
That is also.
He's a home record.
That is also a fact.
Coaches in the WNBA right now too. So there's that.
Leave that alone.
No. That's not. No. Okay, whatever. That's really not what I meant. I just meant like I didn't realize he was coaching in the WNBA to the other day when they were talking. Like I didn't realize he was coaching.
Oh yeah. Oh,
so see,
talk about
sexist Kenner.
No, that was sexist Kev.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. What? We ain't talking. We got to get to this commercial break.
I know Debbie's gonna kill both of us.
Debbie's on vacation this week, but next week.
Keep it rolling then.
Yeah. All right, folks, we'll be back. Hey, by the way, real quick, I'm glad you hit that NFL music. See, we are, simpatico. Good for you.
Earlier.
So, if you are watching live on Facebook, head to Facebook right now. Search the Justin Kinner Show. In the comment section, I just inserted in there the Pro Football Pick'em Challenge. That's right. Submit your weekly picks for Week 1 of the NFL season. It kicks off tomorrow night. You have the Chiefs, you have the Texans, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, the two highest-paid quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League, going head-to-head. You have the defending Super Bowl champions, the Chiefs. The NFL season's here, folks. There's no doubt about it. Get your picks submitted and go to Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show, and if you already like it, that's great. Look for the link within the comment section and get your picks submitted. Start getting that done early. Make sure you are registered and ready to go. We'll announce the prizes and everything coming up here throughout the next couple of days. But you got to get registered. Go get your picks submitted, and we'll take a look at that coming up. So the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Go check it out. We'll be back in a moment. A lot to get into coming up here in hour 3, including more Browns and Bengals talk. We'll get an update as far as with the Big Ten and potentially kicking off in the fall. It's not sounding good. Hey, congratulations. The Wright State Raiders and the Dayton Flyers have advanced to the NCAA tournament for 2020. You look a little confused, Kev.
I'm very confused.
You could thank the ACC for that, potentially. Every team might make the NCAA tournament in 2020 thanks to the ACC. We'll discuss when we come back. I'm going to tell you why it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. We'll be back in a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from the Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro Painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I've had CertaPro Painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State-themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro Painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time, they get the job done right, and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro Painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Looking for fall flavor that really brings the heat? Enjoy a home-style meal with a kick at Lee's famous recipe chicken, thanks to our spicy jumbo dippers combo for only $6.49. Dip into your spicy side with a big helping of our spicy jumbo dippers, an individual side, a fluffy biscuit, and a regular drink, all at a great price. It's the easy way to fire up your taste buds. Get a home-style meal made easy with our spicy jumbo dippers combo for only $6.49. Only at Lee's.
famous for chicken.
Bromley's for Men makes it easy to choose the right shaving routine. In fact, we've done the work for you. Our 7-blade razor with the no-slip get-a-grip handle gives you the smoothest shave possible. Bromley's practically puts your shaving routine on autopilot. Seriously, if we could physically shave your face for you, we would. Find the Bromley's Get-a-Grip razor in the men's grooming aisle at Kroger. Bromley's for Men. You do you, we'll do the rest.
Champagne Dental, taking the fear out of dentistry.
Champagne Dental Group in Urbana knows how important it is for you to have a healthy, bright smile. We believe maintaining oral health is an integral aspect of your overall health. This is why we want to reward you for your regular checkups with our Forever Bright Teeth Whitening Program. Call today to set up an appointment and let us help make your smile bright. Champagne Dental Group in Urbana, 653-8650 and online at champagnedentalgroup.org.
It's the summer clearance event at Key Chrysler. I'm Chris Toby. At Key, our primary focus is your safety and ours. We are practicing safe social distancing. Probably like you, we hate it, but we are wearing our masks and we are diligently cleaning the dealership. If you're more comfortable handling your sales and service needs from home, we can help you. Visit TobyAuto.com where you can complete all the aspects of a vehicle purchase, including financing and trade appraisals, schedule service, or simply get a question answered. Most importantly, stay safe out there. We will get through this together.
Finding the next job is a big job, and that part of what you do is a little tough right now. Because of that, Lowe's for Pros is here to help. Get $400 in leads on us with a free 1-year subscription from HomeAdvisor to connect to jobs that make sense for you. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty to get started. Just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. Now let's get to work. Subscription and $400 lead credit subject to HomeAdvisor's approval and terms. Valid for new HomeAdvisor customers only. Lowe's loyalty required. More terms apply. Valid through 9/9 US only.
It's a new season. And at Sport Clips Haircuts, all of our stylists are clean certified and guy smart. So come in and get yourself back in the game with our legendary MVP experience. It's a mancation with our hot steam towel, relaxing shampoo, and a winning cut. Check in online and walk out with confidence. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
And you be stepping out like a pro.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save for driving safely. Save for driving less with pay-per-mile insurance. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. Savings based on early signing, discount drive-bys, and mile-wise. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We've got you. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got you covered. We're the only place you can find Duralast, the batteries more consumers choose. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination, where help is always in stock. Claims based on a proprietary consumer study and data from the MPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. O'Reilly.
Superstart batteries exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts are designed to meet the electrical demands of today's vehicles. Get dependable power and performance from a Superstart battery for your car, truck, motorcycle, lawnmower, boat, and more. Our professional parts people can help you find just what you need. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Picking up an online order? No problem. It'll just be a moment. You know, we've got more convenient ways to shop besides our same-day store pickup. You can also shop from your car with our free curbside pickup. Or you can even shop completely from home with our free next-day delivery. Just order by 10 p.m. on Autozone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Free next-day delivery on eligible orders. Restrictions at Autozone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
When you have frequent heartburn, antacid relief only lasts for a few hours. Prilosec OTC stops heartburn before it begins and lasts a full 24 hours. Its unique delayed release formula blocks heartburn at the source. With just one pill a day, you get 24-hour heartburn protection. Make the switch today. Prilosec OTC. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Let's go, let's go squeeze. We're going, growing, standing tall, climbing up and hide and seeking, giving our all.
Our kids' days are filled with adventure, and Go-Go Squeeze is there for every run, jump, step of the way. Made from wholesome ingredients like 100% fruit and veggies, real yogurt, and no artificial anything, and Go Anywhere pouches, so our kids can keep going wherever their adventures take them. Go-Go Squeeze. You make the memories, we'll make the snacks. Find us in the applesauce aisle.
Let's go.
When you have trouble sleeping, it's tough. When kids have trouble sleeping,
Mom, I can't sleep. Dad, just one more story?
for nights like this, try Vicks Pure Z's Kids. Our great tasting gummies are specially formulated for kids with a unique blend of botanicals and a low dose of melatonin to support their natural sleep cycle. Best of all, they're drug-free and non-habit forming. Help your child fall asleep naturally with Pure Z's Kids Gummies. Consult with a doctor before use. For ages 4 and up.
Hey race fans, Marty Smith here. Is there a hometown original hero in your hometown who's gone above and beyond in serving your local community during this year's pandemic? If so, Smithfield wants to help you honor them. Share their stories and feature their names on the Smithfield number 10 race car later this year at Martinsville. So whether your hero is a nurse, EMT, police officer, or grocery store worker, nominate them at SmithfieldHometownHeroes.com and upload a 1-minute video that tells their story. Contest ends September 13th, 2020. No purchase necessary.
Progressive presents The Sound of the Old World.
The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? You mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sound of the Old World.
Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, and we are back, hour 3. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Wednesday. Just a reminder that our ESPN Dayton NFL Pro Pick'em is up live at on the website at wingam.com, or you can head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show, tune into the show live and watch the show. And in the comment section, I posted the link. Make sure when you go to wingam.com, you click on contest, and you'll see the Pro Football Challenge, the Pro Football Pick'em Challenge. So make sure you go and get your weekly your weekly picks submitted and take advantage of that. In fact, tomorrow, Kevin and I will be giving our week 1 picks for the upcoming season. And I haven't decided if I'm going to be ballsy and go with the Browns over the Ravens. I went with the Browns.
13-3.
I went with the Browns over the Ravens last year, at least in the first game. And by the way, they played at Baltimore and won. So there you go. And we all know what that did for the Browns. Nothing. Ultimately, nothing. Ultimately, it did nothing. Okay, so We all know that right now in the world of sports, everything is just different because of COVID. It has created a divide in this country, not just from a political standpoint, but from a sports standpoint, because the political world has kind of, I almost spilled that water every day. I haven't done it yet, but I'm about to. But we know how much that gets involved. Don't worry, we're not going to go down the political spectrum. However, it's just interesting how different sports have been this coming up season. I mean, if you look at the fact that college football, you have 3 of the Power 5 conferences kicking off. The Big Ten, the Pac-12 will not be kicking off, at least with the official word that, the Buckeyes said will not be kicking off in the fall. We all know where it's probably headed, because if it was going to happen, like, that's the thing, the longer you go without making an announcement, you're not going to get the answer you're wanting.
Right.
This has been a mess. Every Buckeye blogger site out there is trying to be the first to report what's going on. I mean, and every single Buckeye blogger site has different sources that are telling them different things, and it's ultimately all wrong. The Dan Patrick Show every day is coming out with these things he's hearing, and ultimately nothing's going anywhere with this. The only one, to be fair, Kev, you don't want to know who the only one that's been consistent from day one? Public enemy number one, Kevin Warren. He hasn't budged. The only guy that has been the same from day one to now has been Kevin Warren. All these weird reports that keep leaking, are they even real? Are these sources even real? Bucknuts, Letterman Row. I mean, what are these? I try. And by the way, Austin Ward, of any of them, I trust Austin Ward more than anybody out there with his. So I'm really not going to include him in this. But I keep hearing 11 Warriors. I mean, everyone. Snook. Everyone has these random weird sources. But nothing's happening. Every day they wake up and they make all the Buckeye fans, hey, make sure you click on my article because I'm going to tell you why we're actually close to having a season. Hey, my sources tell me they're going to have a meeting coming up on Friday and their vote coming up on Friday. What? Nothing's happened. Now another report's coming out that this weekend they're going to be voting. No, they're not. Or if they are, who can? That's the thing. We want them to vote. They did vote. You didn't like the answer, so you keep complaining until they have a vote that's going to give you the answer you want. I'm not even mad at the people who are mad that there's not a season. I'm just getting annoyed with this is just a mess. It's an absolute disaster. It's a disaster from a PR standpoint. Kevin Warren, his biggest mistake that he has made, it's not pulling the plug on the season, by the way, because until the season is over, we don't know if pulling the plug is the right or wrong decision. I don't care what any of you diehard fans say. You're full of it. If you think that Kevin Warren has made the wrong decision on that, I'm not saying he has not made the wrong decision. I'm just not ready to say he has made the wrong decision. If we crown a national champion and there's no major hiccups along the way, because I don't count positive tests during a pandemic as major hiccups. That's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I'm talking massive outbreaks, severe, fallouts from this, severe health conditions that are altered, all that. So with that being said, we won't know if Kevin Warren actually made the wrong or right decision. But here's where Kevin Warren is so wrong, it's not even funny. Do you remember what his voice sounds like?
I don't even remember.
Do you remember what his face looks like outside of the pictures and everything that people are posting?
I know what his office looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Don't you just hate a guy who loves showing off his accomplishments? I mean, if I had any accomplishments, they'd be hung up behind me. Just saying. Everything I've ever accomplished is behind me. Nothing. Really. Anyways, with that being said, that's an ongoing thing there. But yesterday, Brett McMurphy posted something that really irritated me because you jumped on it, I jumped on it, and I am not one to ever admit when I'm wrong on something. Actually, that's not true. I will, but it's always painful.
You did it yesterday, twice.
And I'm about to do it today, too. Yesterday, Brett McMurphy tweeted this out. Okay? Brett McMurphy, Urban Meyer's best friend. Brett McMurphy tweeted out that California University of Pennsylvania, did not even know that existed, but there you go. California University of Pennsylvania, senior defensive tackle Jermaine Stevens Jr. died from complications of COVID-19, the school said. Wow. A college football player died of complications of COVID-19. He's 6'3", 355 pounds. Stevens was only 20. His father, also named Jermaine, was a first-round draft pick of Kevin's Steelers back in 1996 and played 5 seasons in the NFL. Brett McMurphy, if FCC would allow me to call you the names I really want to call you right now, I would. Because that is a horrible tweet, and here's why. Everyone and their mother that reads that tweet reads it as if, and he knows this, reads it as if a player, an active football player, has died out on the field basically because of this virus or contracted it on the field. That is not the case. I, of course, got angry right away and said, "Oh, Facebook MD, they're all going to come to they're all going to tell you why you're wrong for thinking that, that this player who died, that the Big Ten's right for pulling the plug on the season because, look, we've already had a football player die from COVID-19. Now, Brett McMurphy knows this. He's as much as we hate him, he's very intelligent as far as how he frames certain things to get the reaction that he wants, and he got me on this one. All right, so I, of course, was mad because I'm like, oh, here we go. Because one life is too many. Mm-hmm. By the way, you lose. I don't care if look at all the college football players. We've only lost one. That's one way too many. This tweet, and again, I'm not trying to downplay the death of this individual, and that's definitely not what I'm trying to do here. But this tweet indicates that California University of Pennsylvania, who I didn't know existed till last night, at the point that I read this tweet, I thought that they actually had a football team that was currently playing, and they don't.
Right.
This individual passed away from complications of COVID-19. Yes, he's a football player, but that has really nothing to do with this outside of the fact that you could, which I know you're going to get into, so I'll leave that alone. But the bottom line is he's not currently a football player.
Right.
There is currently not a football season going on for this team. That would be like saying that would be like saying that a Walmart employee died from the coronavirus. Oh my goodness, I shouldn't go to Walmart. It's dangerous. Someone died at Walmart. No. It didn't happen at Walmart. He didn't even get it from Walmart. He actually got it from Meijer. But he works at Walmart. So you should never go to Walmart. That's what Brett McMurphy did here. This is so messed up. I feel horrible, for anyone that passes away, especially for this right now, because there's just so many unknowns. But for him to shape this tweet that way, to knowing the temperature of the sports world right now. Brett McMurphy is a horrible human being for that tweet last night because he took the death of a 19-year-old or 20-year-old kid to try to push his narrative that this virus is so bad that we should not be playing football. This virus is bad. It is dangerous. I don't care for the Facebook MD out there, people who want to talk about the less than 1% and blah, 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 blah. Stop it. All right, just stop. I get it. I know the numbers. I know everything along those lines. But like I said, one life is too many. But this kid didn't die in a football setting.
Right.
Because right now we are talking about how dangerous is playing sports right now in 2020. How dangerous is this kid didn't pass away because of a sports complication. All right. He had an underlying condition. We could argue that till the cows come home. Who cares? Bottom line is Brett McMurphy. That was a horrible tweet. So I'm just not a fan of that at all. I'm not a fan of that at all.
Yeah. We talked about that before we actually started the show today, and this is a couple things I like to unpack about it. One, most importantly, RIP, rest well, young king. Two, you're 100% correct. If this would have happened, and we talked about this before, at a bigger university, at a place that wasn't playing, like any Big Ten school, any Pac-12 school, this would have made headlines and this would have gave people hesitation. But it didn't. It happened at California and Pennsylvania University. That's one. Two, I saw so many people saying, oh, he was obese, that's why. Well, you know what?
We're all a little thick in the middle.
Ask Wyatt Davis to step on a scale. Ask any offensive lineman at a Power 5 level to step on the scale. They're tipping 3 bills. Easy. Why do you think so many NFL linemen, after they're done playing the sport, they go away from 6 months and then boom, they pop up on your TV. They're looking like they could be a model.
Because Joe Thomas, ring a bell, anybody?
Yeah. Losing tons of weight, looking great. Because they know carrying all that extra weight is bad for them. He has weight. Maybe it's because he's playing football. Maybe it's just because he was a big guy. So that's 2. And 3, the most important thing is you're right about Brett McMurphy. The way this tweet was formed, the average person isn't going to first think, hey, are they even playing football? Oh, he got this playing football. Who did they play last week? The average person isn't going to think about that because it is such a small university.
Yep.
So they're not thinking that. The first thing they're thinking is, oh man, he died because he got coronavirus on Saturday playing football. That's what people are going to think. And that is disingenuous. And that is forming a narrative that isn't actually true. Yes, I do believe that it's very dangerous. This disease is this virus is very dangerous and everything like that. But if you've been listening to the show since I've been on it, I've been the side saying we just don't know what's going to happen 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 2 years from now. Everybody's talking about this football season, and if they get throughout a season. They crown a champion. See, Big Ten should have played because nothing happened. Well, we don't know what's going to happen 4 and 5 years from now from people that have contracted COVID-19. What's going to happen to their heart? What's going to happen to their lungs? What's going to happen to their internal organs? Because if you do some research and you read a couple of articles, I mean, we talked about the kid from Indiana. He's having issues. A big 5-star defensive end from Clemson. He had COVID. He's having breathing issues. There's a cross country runner from California. She's having issues get back. Yes, these are, quote unquote outliers. They're small blips, but you do enough small blips, eventually they become a big blip on the radar. So my whole point to this and everything in general with COVID-19, we just don't know what's going to happen down the line. And that's why doing this is so dangerous. There's reports out there that say if you've contracted COVID-19, you shouldn't participate in physical sports like a basketball, football, between 12 and 18 months to give your heart and your lungs fully time to heal. You may not have the virus anymore and you may not be able to spread it to anyone else, but your insides have not fully healed yet. So that's why I worry about, anybody who has contracted COVID-19 going out there to play, because we don't know what's going to happen to your body long term. And if you're out there pushing your body to the limit, you're out there catch a 5-yard slant and you're trying to make it to the end zone and you clunk out live on ESPN, then what? Then we're going to be like, oh, man, this family should be suing the university. That's what people are going to say. But those same people are going to be saying, oh, the Big Ten should have been out there playing. It's a dangerous situation, man. And I feel so bad for anybody that goes out there and that is putting themselves in a compromising position because they think like this can't happen to them. Something I learned a long time ago, man, anything can happen to anybody anywhere. And this, if you have caught COVID-19 and you just determined on playing, I'll pray for you because we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, you may be cool this Saturday, the next Saturday, and the Saturday after that. But 5 years down the line, we don't know what's going to happen to your body on the inside, man. So I'm praying for people. My thing on that is this, and I definitely understand what you're saying, because every fan reaction right now, all the Facebook MD and Twitter MD people out there, their reaction is about, well, the numbers show that, well, no one's going to die, so who cares? Like, the people are living in the moment. They're living in the now. Yeah. They're not thinking about what could potentially happen down the road. However, to be fair, we don't treat anything else. We don't treat any of the other risks associated with football with that same regard. For instance, earlier we talked about Ryan Chazier, and you mentioned you're surprised things like that don't happen more. Yes. So with that being said, that's one of those situations that are unfortunate, and the only way to 100% protect yourself from what happened to Ryan Chazier is don't play. Right. So I definitely agree with what you're saying is we don't know down the road. There could be so many complications that we're unaware of and that we're starting to see, breadcrumbs of, small sample sizes of guys who are being impacted by this, even without passing away, but their body's just not the same. They're not healing right away. Their heart is weakened, their breathing is weakened, and those types of things. But the percentages showed, if you do your research, yada, yada, that's fantastic. That's super. You're focusing on the deaths. But talk to the people who live and are still impacted by this. Because keep in mind, we keep talking about just, people keep narrowing it down to, if no one's dying, then who cares? They're not, they don't care about the rest of the situation as far as that's concerned. But with that being said, we are talking about a sport, and I'm not trying to do the whole, they don't care about safety. This is a sport that has concussions. We joked about that in the past, but the bottom line is that there are always risks involved in any sport that you don't know. I mean, football is a sport where you are playing such a physical sport that you don't even know, like a lot of football players don't even know the impact of playing football, what it's going to have on their body until 10 years after they're done playing. Mm-hmm. That's what, the concussion stuff, everything that came around. So if players could still go out on the field and play, knowing the risks of, hey man, I really do risk the chance of having, severe brain damage, years after my playing days, and they could still go out there and play knowing those risks, fine. The difference is though, is there's now enough statistical data to show what those risks are. There could be risks right now with COVID that we don't even know exist because it's going to take some time. That's still not me saying that we still shouldn't be playing football. That brings me to this point, because I'm glad we jumped on that. People were so angry at Desmond Howard. Who was it? Who were the two broadcasters on game day over the weekend? So Lee Corso and Desmond Howard. Okay, both said over the weekend that they agreed with the Big Ten stance to not play. Mm-hmm.
And it was like they made a Jesus joke in church. I mean, people were so offended by that. And I'm seeing again the Buckeye blogger boys and all them right away. I mean, literally, they all just go to Twitter and they get all their Buckeye fan base all fired up. Well, if they're so against the Big Ten playing football, then they should just give up their paycheck. And that's the dumbest thing. I mean, seriously. People are dumb enough to pay certain writers to go say stupid stuff like that. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. All they said was that they agree with the Big Ten's approach to this. It's better to be safe than sorry. They didn't say that, hey, but they're saying, hey, well, if you don't agree with them, if you agree with them not playing, then you're a hypocrite for continuing to host game day and promote the teams who are playing. All they're doing is saying, hey, with everything that we know, the Big Ten made the right decision. We support them. But it doesn't mean that they have to all of a sudden quit calling games. So that doesn't make any sense. That really irritated me this past weekend when I was reading that. I meant to touch on that yesterday and completely forgot, but I'm glad, that kind of brought us into this. But I don't get that approach. I mean, it's like what I really loved about game day was the different avenues that they went. And they talked about this, obviously with the police brutality and a lot of the social justice and everything that's going on. I love that they touched on that. Mm-hmm. One thing that really caught my attention on that, by the way, is people, and again, I'm all over the place here. But one thing I did like about Maria Taylor's piece that she did was, I forgot the player, he's from Clemson. He mentioned the fact that, because again, people fall in the trap of, why are these African-American college kids who everyone caters to them? Well, I mean, seriously, how tough is their life? Why are these rich NFL and NBA players talking about it? Their life isn't that bad. You think that what I learned the most about that piece that they ran on game day over the weekend, Kev, was this. Eventually, your 4 years at Clemson are up.
Facts.
Eventually, your 4 years at Ohio State are up. Oh, no, people love the Buckeyes in Columbus. You think every Buckeye player stays in Columbus afterwards? Eventually, you are just a random black man that's out and about somewhere in this country. That's the problem. So and again, I'm all over, but that really stood out to me as far as that goes. But I love what game day did. They brought so many different mindsets and approaches to this. They didn't tell everybody, hey, we need to all pretend that we're on board with these teams playing because, hey, it's a bad look if we don't. There were so many different things that were brought to the table on game day over the weekend. Good for them.
Yeah, I watched as well. And big thing about game day, you touched on it, Desmond Howard and Lee Corso believe they shouldn't be playing, but Herb Street believe they should. So they had two different point of views and they were able to talk about it civilly, and in today's society, we can't talk about anything without getting into an argument and damn near a fist fight about it. And, and that's sad that grown adults can't even talk something out as much as we love sports. People just go ballistic. The Maria Taylor piece, it brought some people on the set, Herb Street, to tears. And, unfortunately, I was on Twitter and people making fun of Herbie for crying. And then, you get your report. It's like, oh, man, if this doesn't move you, a grown man crying. I was like, and I took some umbrage to that because you're reporting about Herb Street crying about it. Yes, he's emotional about it and he wants to see some change, and that's great. But keep that same energy when these young athletes are talking about it as well. I would have had more focus on the piece done by Maria Taylor from some of these websites, talking about everything they were talking about on game day. Like that piece was great, for her to be able to get all those athletes from all across the country on a Zoom call to express themselves and talk about all the things that they're doing in their community is big. And, I talk about my grandmother on the show all the time, but, that's a person that I talk to and I look up to. And something she told me about, we got the election coming up and everything like that. And she told me about the years that she used to work the polls and everything like that. And, she was expressing to me like it's up to the younger people because us older people can't do that anymore, and that brings me to the point of these young people, these 21, 22, 23-year-olds, they are the future and they are the people that are going to be leading the country going forward. And you will want people out there on the front lines fighting for civil rights for everybody. And it's always alarming to me when I look throughout history, it's always athletes. Athletes are always at the center of these type of things. Athletes carry a powerful voice. We can talk about John Carlos and the Olympics. We can talk about, Muhammad Ali. There's so many different athletes who have stood up for civil justice, and they use their platforms in a positive light. I commend those young men. I commend ESPN. I commend Maria Taylor for putting that on. It was awesome, man. I normally game day is all about, bringing everybody together to talk about the game. They could have easily not talked about any of that stuff because, they all day on ESPN, Get Up with Greeny. They talk about it a ton with Stephen A. and Max. They could have just said, you know what, this show, let's just focus on the fun part, the game. But they didn't. They tackled those issues. Now, will they be tackling those issues every week? I doubt it. They're actually going to be on the road this week. Surprisingly enough, they're going to the Clemson Wake Forest game without any fans. I don't know how you can do college game day without fans, but they're going back on the road for that game. So I would expect them to, kind of keep the energy up and get us ready for college football. But that first one out the gate, it was a college game day unlike any other.
No, and look, and my point about I like even that, you don't have to agree with everything that was brought up on college game day. I was bringing up the fact that, hey, not everyone agrees with everybody. Right. I just got irritated with the mindset that when Desmond Howard brought it and Lee Corso agreed that he agreed with the Big Ten not playing, I'm like, you know what? Super. That's awesome. I don't agree with Desmond Howard. I don't agree with Lee Corso, but I never once thought we're all listening to them have a different opinion than me. Say, well, then what the hell are you hosting game day for? So then does that mean then the Bucknuts people and them and the other the Buckeye blogger sites, they need to keep it consistent because when it comes time to Ohio State playing in January and those other teams, and they were in support of playing, so that means they're against the Big Ten not playing, then they shouldn't call any Big Ten games. Is that what we're going to say? Are we going to keep it consistent? If Desmond Howard and them aren't allowed to talk about the teams who are playing, then Kirk Herbstreit and those guys, they shouldn't be able to talk about Ohio State whenever they do start playing in the spring. Because, hey, you were against them not playing in the fall, so that means you're against them playing in the spring, so you shouldn't be calling their games come springtime. Keep it consistent, you bunch of crybabies. My goodness. It is so irritating to me when it comes to that. Like, Desmond Howard did nothing wrong. You want to hate on him because he's from Michigan? Do that. Fine.
Right.
Fine. I'm all for it. I'm all for it as far as
I got a prediction.
Concerned.
I got a prediction.
Okay.
Justin Fields is going to come back.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going pro.
You don't think he's going pro?
I don't think he's going pro.
You know what? You're probably right.
I think he's
mainly because Trevor Lawrence and the field for quarterback, no pun intended, the field for quarterbacks isn't that great.
What you got? Lawrence, the kid from North Dakota with Trey Lance.
He will be the guy next season. But if you're Ryan Day, I know this sounds really weird, but like it does throw off your recruit, like the quarterback battle. Like you look at the guys that they have, you know what I mean? Like you look at the guys that they have in that.
Oh well, guys.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, But that was the whole argument about like some coaches, like they didn't want to bring back, like when they were given the
extra year,
you can offset their eligibility. Some coaches they're not big fans of that. Because you recruit to fill. I mean, It's a strategy of, hey, this guy's on the way out. You have these guys to fill these gaps, and now you've created a situation where, okay, one more year of Justin Fields could lead to one of those other guys, Jack Miller, whoever, Stroud, whoever. You could lose 3 or 4 years of one of those guys for 1 year of Justin Fields, which, by the way, right now it's easy to say, oh, that's fine. But you know what I mean? Like what happens? Like, because that potentially happened. You lost 2 years of Joe Burrow to have 1 year of Haskins.
Right.
Was that worth it? The first year was worth it because Joe Burrow didn't look like Joe Burrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when but the second year, it's like, holy crap. If we would have got Joe Burrow for 2 years instead of 1 year of Haskins, it would have been worth it as far as that's concerned. But interesting nonetheless, as far as all of that is concerned. But yeah, interesting over the weekend. I don't even know how we got into all this as far as that, but all over. Game day, I just hope it's not as depressing moving forward because
game day always has depressing segments, No,
those are I love the segments that make you tear up. I love when they do those great sports features. I love those. Those are always well done. But this past weekend, it was just, man, like we're supposed to be getting hyped for football, and it's just nothing but this down, gloomy, like, are you ready for some football? It wasn't any of that. It definitely was not any of that as far as that's concerned. So either way, but yeah, Ohio State to get mad at Desmond Howard, and then that was foolish. absolutely foolish as far as that's concerned. Hey, how about we get on the topic that we originally wanted to get into? The ACC coaches are proposing that the NCAA tournament includes all Division I teams.
Yeah.
So the Raiders, Wright State, UD,
get my shirt ready.
They've all clinched an NCAA tournament. But again, nothing has been confirmed as far as that's concerned. In fact, practices are supposed to start on the 29th, I believe. That could potentially be pushed back. My big question is, college basketball fans, answer me this. Why? Why are we making that adjustment? Why? We're going to discuss that next. I really don't see why it's necessary. And it benefits one of the teams I love and follow in Wright State. It benefits them. But I think it's stupid that every team would be let in. I see zero purpose for that. I mean, my goodness. That first week, I mean, are we going to be talking about like 81, the seed 81? I mean, an 81 seed has never beat a number 1 seed or whatever the seeds would be. I mean, I have no idea as far as that's concerned. But all right, folks, we'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon is going to be mainly clear and sunny with a high near 91. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 66. And tomorrow's going to be mostly sunny with a high near 86. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Small Engine Service Pros in New Carlisle, your local authorized Hustler mower dealer. Stop in today and see the Hustler Fast Track, the Hustler X1, and the Hustler Super Z. Rittal North America LLC in Urbana has several great opportunities for you. Rittal will be conducting a hiring event at their facility on Saturday, September 12th, between 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. for on-the-spot interviews. They're seeking experienced assembly operators, welders, machine operators, and paint loaders. Starting wage up to $16 per hour. Rittal offers outstanding benefits and opportunities. Identification is required for entry access. Rittal is proud to be an affirmative action and equal opportunity employer. Here's a question for you. Which Miami Valley golf course was voted the #1 golf course in the Dayton area? It's Turtle Creek Golf Course. Another question. Which golf course was rated the #4 best public golf course in the state of Ohio? That's right, Turtle Creek. And which course was rated the 18th best in the USA with green fees under $50? Right again, it's Turtle Creek. Here's my last question. When are you going to get your pals together to come out to Turtle Creek Golf Course and play? We're an easy drive to Greenville. See you soon at Turtle Creek.
Hey, former Navy SEAL Cade Cordley here for 4 Patriots, and I'm here to prepare you for whatever crisis comes next. Now, in an emergency, your #1 priority is food. The Red Cross and FEMA suggest at least 72 hours worth of food to be crisis ready. Today, 4 Patriots has a buy one, get one free deal on their 72-hour survival food kit. To grab this buy one, get one offer for yourself, go to getmorefood.com. Go now before they're gone, getmorefood.com. That's getmorefood.com.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
Napa know-how.
Get all the quality parts you need at your locally owned Napa. Because right now, when you order from Napa online, you can pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Or get your order delivered direct to your door with free 1-day shipping and over 160,000 quality parts when you spend $35 or more. Quality parts delivered quickly and safely. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating stores, standard ground shipping and exclusions apply.
Today, being there for one another is more important than ever. At Kettering Health Network, our caregivers are dedicated to helping you stay safe and well. We're open and ready to care for you. From treating emergencies to regular wellness visits, count on us to deliver the exceptional care you've come to expect. Kettering Health Network. Together, supporting each other. Learn more at ketteringhealth.org.
Welcome to Pipestone Golf Club with a 4-star rating from Golf Digest and recognized as the best course to play. Pipestone is a favorite in the Miami Valley. The Arthur Hills design masterpiece is carved into the sweeping foothills and ancient oaks of southwestern Ohio. The course provides a quality challenge to golfers of all levels, and everyone is welcome. Be sure to call for a tee time, then bring your friends and play America's greatest game on a golf course that truly sets itself apart. Pipestone, a great golf experience.
It's the summer clearance event at New Carlisle Chrysler. I'm Chris Toby. At New Carlisle, our primary focus is your safety and ours. We are practicing safe social distancing. Probably like you, we hate it, but we are wearing our masks and we are diligently cleaning the dealership. If you're more comfortable handling your sales and service needs from home, we can help you. Visit TobyAuto.com where you can complete all aspects of the vehicle purchase, including financing and trade appraisals, schedule service, or simply get a question answered. Most importantly, stay safe out there. We will get through this together.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers with home daily lanes. $2,000 sign-on bonus, great pay and benefits. Contact Cody. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation. Driven to succeed.
Bromley's for Men makes it easy to choose the right shaving routine. In fact, we've done the work for you. Our 7-blade razor with the no-slip get-a-grip handle gives you the smoothest shave possible. Bromley's practically puts your shaving routine on autopilot. Seriously, if we could physically shave your face for you, we would. Find the Bromley's Get-a-Grip razor in the men's grooming aisle at Kroger. Bromley's for Men. You do you, we'll do the rest.
Hooray fans, listen up. This season, Pepsi is looking for one Bengals fan to sign a fan endorsement deal. The winner gets gear, season tickets, a photo shoot, a billboard, and so much more. All you have to do is participate in the weekly challenges at MadeForBengalsWatching.com, and you could be named the official Hooray fan. So, are you Bengals enough? Pepsi, made for football watching. Open to residents of Indiana and Ohio. 18+. For rules, visit MadeForBengalsWatching.com. Contest ends 11/21/20. Grab some delicious, refreshing Pepsi at Kroger before the next Bengals game day. Pepsi, made for football watching. Head to Kroger and grab Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Lowe's for Pros loyalty program gives pros personalized offers, purchase tracking, and more. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty. Terms and conditions apply. U.S. only.
Reds fans, don't miss the Justin Kinner Show, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. You'll get the latest Reds news, headlines, lineups, player features, and recaps. Don't miss a game or a show on Dayton's home of the Reds, ESPN 1410, Wing AM. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, welcome back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here. Week 1 of the NFL season is officially upon us. Head to wingam.com or the chat section within the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page as you're watching live. I put the link to the Pro Football Pick'em contest in there, so make sure you click on that to get your picks submitted. The first game of the season kicks off tomorrow night, the Chiefs and the Texans. The Browns and Ravens kick off at 1 o'clock on Sunday. I'm super pumped about that. We're going to be heading out to Florida around that time, so I'll be able to at least hopefully watch the game in the car. So I'm excited about that.
Have your phone by you.
I'm excited. Look, the Browns, first of all, I'm expecting a big year from OBJ, a much bigger year than last year. Especially, I really do look at him as being huge on third down.
That was a good one.
Well, I'm a horrible person because I stole that joke from Doug Morgan. Doug Morgan, I'm apologizing to you because I stole your joke earlier in the show. I was going through some of the old comments from earlier in the show. Doug Morgan wanted to know, do you think OBJ is going to become a third down type receiver this year? And I literally stole his joke. So there you go.
Oh, goodness.
So there's that. Doug, thank you for the material. I really appreciate it. So there you go. So, all right. So, by the way, during the break, I came across this tweet, and it makes my stomach turn. Reds, Dick Williams, by the way, Reds general manager Dick Williams says that there has been no discussions on David Bell's job status. He goes on to clarify, which, by the way, I have no problem with that. I'm not calling for David Bell's job. What I'm really screaming for is for this team to be held accountable. I want to hear, like Lance McAllister in Cincinnati. I agree with him 1,000,000%. He wants to hear someone show a little life in that team. Someone from the top, from David Bell, from a player, acknowledge the fact that you are underachieving. Acknowledge the fact that there's no words. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge that things are not. I'm tired of every time you hear David Bell open his mouth. Hey, we're still very confident in the guys we have in this clubhouse. Are you serious? Are you serious? So Dick Williams goes on to say, Kevin, that the main glaring statistic for us is the underperformance of the offense and the BABIP. That's my favorite one. He goes on to say that a lot of this is bad luck, and I don't want to blame that on the wrong person. Really?
Okay. Hear me out.
Really?
Hear me out. You know how that dreaded phrase in sports that they give you, that vote of confidence from upper management, and then 2 weeks later that person is let go? Mm-hmm. Maybe that is this situation. This happens all the time. I remember the week before Florida State played Miami last year in college football, the AD gave Willie Taggart a vote of confidence, saying we're behind the 100% moving forward. Willie's the leader of this program. They got blown out by Miami. He got fired on Sunday. Vote of confidence, man. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. That doesn't carry any weight to me, because I've seen it happen too many times in sports where management gives the coach a vote of confidence, and then they end up doing exactly what they've been doing all season, and then they end up making a change. So for me, that means absolutely nothing.
Dick Williams said that there has been no discussions on David Bell's job status. I wasn't calling you a name. I was reading the tweet. Dick Williams says there's been no discussion on David Bell's job status. I agree. I don't think there should be any discussion on his job status. I think that they should be putting a magnifying glass over the decision-making and making sure that he is the right fit moving forward. Because, again, you spend a lot of money, like you spent way too much money this offseason to be making the excuse of, well, we're just having some bad luck this year. I mean, really?
Do you believe in luck in sports?
I believe luck plays a role, but I don't believe it's a factor. I believe you can have bad luck in the game. Oh, man, that ball, it hit every part of the rim and bounced out. Man, that's bad luck. But when you shoot 25%, that's not bad luck. That's just bad shooting.
Right.
So, oh, man, Eugenio Suarez, he clobbered that thing. Oh man, he got robbed at the wall. Man, that's just some bad luck. Yeah, but you're hitting 208. So that's not, to me, that's bad. It's not. And by the way, it depends what your definition of bad luck is. Like, everyone always says, oh man, you're lucky, man. You're lucky you weren't there that night when it rained, or you're lucky that, so to me, luck doesn't play. Luck could play a role in an individual game. Like, oh man, if the ball would have just been hit a little bit harder, it would have cleared the wall and you would have had a walk-off home run instead of hitting it to the warning track. Man, if the umpire, he just had a horrible strike zone that night. Man, if you had had a regular, man, you're just unlucky that night. That if you had a different, you could have an off night because of luck. You can't have an off season. 208 is not. You're hitting 208 as a team. That's not bad luck. Like, that's just bad. You're bad.
For me, I don't believe in luck in that way. I look at luck as like, man, these guys are always injured. They're always banged up. That's bad luck. Oh, man, you didn't lose any starting offensive lineman all season long and on your way to the Super Bowl. That's good luck. Like, I look at it like that. Like, all those things, like hitting the ball, throwing the ball, catching the ball, whatever, you can control that. You can't control injuries. So that's why I look at injuries is the only thing I can see being good or bad luck.
Very true. The Buckeyes were lucky that JT Barrett got hurt against Michigan because they go on to win the national championship. You were right. I agree. We'll be back in a moment. Let's talk a little Joe Burrow being named a captain before he's even done anything. If this happened to Baker Mayfield, Bengals fans would not be happy. Joe Burrow does not deserve to be captain. We'll be back in a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Windy Knoll Golf Club in Springfield is Central Ohio's premier link-style golf course, but it's much more. The Stables, our full-service restaurant, includes outdoor seating and Friday night local entertainment. The Derby Banquet and Conference Center fits up to 150 guests and is the perfect setting for corporate, school, wedding, and family events. You feel like you're at an exclusive private club. But Windy Knoll and all its world-class amenities is open to the public, and everyone is welcome. Visit WindyKnollGolfClub.com for more information.
Sports injury, low back pain, or are you interested in improving your performance and getting to the next level? Orion Sports Medicine is truly a unique sports medicine and physical therapy clinic and training facility. We offer a highly educated staff that has experience working with athletes from the recreational and youth levels to elite professionals. We offer services that include PT, functional assessment, wellness, fitness, return to sport, sports performance, strength and conditioning, speed and agility training, all at our state-of-the-art facility in Miamisburg. For more information on Orion Sports Medicine, visit orionsportsmedicine.com.
I'm thinking of you. What kinder words could be more meaningful at a time like this? At First Florist and Greenhouses, we know everyone is coping the best they can. And when hugs are not possible, a kind word or gesture can bring comfort and a smile. So today, make that phone call or send a heartfelt note to someone you care about. And if you'd like to send a fresh bouquet of flowers, we can help with that. We're First Florist and Greenhouses at 1306 Troy Street in Dayton, a local family-owned business since 1905. And we're thinking of you.
Watch TV for free with a great selection of antennas from Menards, like an RCA amplified indoor antenna with Smart Boost that helps bring in weak signals. Right now, all RCA antennas and accessories are 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Prices are good until September 12th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards. Let's go, go, with Go-Go Squeeze. We're going, growing, standing tall, climbing, laughing, hide and seeking, giving our all.
Our kids' days are filled with adventure, and Go-Go Squeeze is there for every run, jump, step of the way. Made from wholesome ingredients like 100% fruit and veggies, real yogurt, and no artificial anything in Go Anywhere pouches, so our kids can keep going wherever their adventures take them. Go-Go Squeeze. You make the memories, we'll make the snacks. Find us in the applesauce aisle.
Let's go.
When you have trouble sleeping, it's tough. When kids have trouble sleeping,
Mom, I can't sleep. Dad, just one more story?
for nights like this, try Vicks Pure Z's Kids. Our great tasting gummies are specially formulated for kids with a unique blend of botanicals and a low dose of melatonin to support their natural sleep cycle. Best of all, they're drug-free and non-habit forming. Help your child fall asleep naturally with Pure Z's Kids Gummies. Consult with a doctor before use. For ages 4 and up.
They can bulge, go bald, wear down, flatten, or be in dire need of replacing. No, guys, it's not you. We're talking about your tires. Let Fat Boys get your car rolling again, safe and sound. Fat Boys carries tires in all makes, styles, and sizes, including Continental, Goodyear, Michelin, and more. Check out Fat Boys' new location in North Dayton at the corner of Needmore and I-75 or 3050 Springboro Pike in South Dayton. Fat Boys, your ultimate resource for wheels, tires, service, and accessories. Look for Fat Boys at fatboysdayton.com.
Fall is all about feel-good food and family. This fall, get a home-style meal on the go that everyone will love. Stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for a 12-piece spicy bonus box for only $23.99. Home-style can happen anywhere with 12 mixed pieces of Lee's Spicy Classic Chicken, a large mashed potatoes and gravy, and a large coleslaw, all at a great price. Get a home-style meal made easy with our 12-piece spicy bonus box for only $23.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Hooray fans, listen up. This season, Pepsi is looking for one Bengals fan to sign a fan endorsement deal. The winner gets gear, season tickets, a photo shoot, a billboard, and so much more. All you have to do is participate in the weekly challenges at MadeForBengalsWatching.com, and you could be named the official Hooray fan. So, are you Bengals enough? Pepsi, made for football watching. Open to residents of Indiana and Ohio. 18 plus. For rules, visit MadeForBengalsWatching.com. Contest ends 11/21/20. Grab some delicious, refreshing Pepsi at Kroger before the next Bengals game day. Pepsi, made for football watching. Head to Kroger and grab Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Third floor study hall. My dining room table. Homeroom Monday and Tuesday. My living room Wednesday to Friday.
Wherever school is this year, Staples has amazing prices on everything like lap desks, computers, and UV sanitizers. This week, the 15-inch Lenovo IdeaPad 3 laptop with Intel Core i3 processor is just $399. You save $130. Shop in-store, order online, or pick up curbside. School on, save on. Staples. Ends 9/12. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
This is the Frells family. They live on a piece of land they call greener pasture, and they work on it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. With its durable construction and features that hook up to dozens of attachments with ease, no job is too tough. The Frells family runs with us, because this is more than just land. It's home. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
The Lowe's for Pros loyalty program gives pros personalized offers, purchase tracking, and more. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty. Terms and conditions apply. U.S. only.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on The Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
Great song. Great song.
Indeed.
Welcome back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here in the final couple minutes of this Wednesday's edition of the Justin Kinner Show on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. So the ACC coaches have proposed, Kev, that every team should make the NCAA tournament. All Division I teams should make the NCAA tournament. You should have an NCAA tournament that features 300-plus teams.
Yes.
And my question to this is why? They missed, no March Madness last week. No March Madness last March. That was devastating to the sport. There's no way in hell you're going to go 2 seasons in a row without it. Everyone you talk to says that, hey, at the very least, they will create some kind of way to have an NCAA tournament. The problem is this doesn't bode well for college basketball, because by you admitting that you are trying to come up with a way to get every team in the NCAA tournament, what you are ultimately saying is that we are doing that because we are not confident that we are going to be able to provide a platform for you to play enough games for us to get a good feel for who is worthy of playing in the NCAA tournament. Which my question to that is, why? College football is playing. College sports are being played. Why can't basketball start at least within a month of the time that it was supposed to? You can't tell me that it's safe enough to have college football being played, which of all the sports out there was supposed to be the most difficult and complicated sport to be able to pull off. And yet you found a way to get it done. But basketball, that's the one with the low. I mean, it's not that many players on both sides. You're talking about from a standpoint of from player personnel, probably a total of 40 to 50 people, which sounds like a lot, but it's not. Mm-hmm. When you're thinking about football, who has 100 people on each sideline. And you can't accomplish a way to be able to have a game played with 50 people total in a building that doesn't even include fans. Or, hey, 25,000 fans are attending LSU games this year, so maybe you can have fans. Don't convince me that. Don't try to waste my time by trying to tell me that there can't be college basketball this season until January. Conference only. Give me a break. Tip off in November the way you were supposed to. There's no damn justifiable reason as to why it shouldn't happen.
I think those are two different arguments, though. The whole tournament versus tipping off on time. Those are two different arguments.
I think they're parallel, because by doing everyone gets into the tournament, you're saying that there's not going to be enough games to be able to justify having a regular 68-team field. That's how I'm perceiving it.
I'm perceiving it as the season got cut short. Everybody didn't get a chance to finish their postseason tournament to see who gets the automatic qualifier. So we're going to give you a make good.
And talking about last year?
Yeah.
Oh, last year's over with. The players are gone. Obi's gone. I'm talking for locally. Those players are done. Last year has nothing to do with anything.
But that's what I'm saying. I just think this is kind of like their version of a make good. As long as they don't try to make this every year thing going forward, I'm cool with. And I'm sure they're not going to be having I'm sure they're going to have like a couple teams. They're going to have buys. Like they're not going to have basically every 350 something Division I basketball teams playing in one weekend. They're gonna have Wright State and maybe Joe Blow school playing in the first round, and like, you know, your Dukes and your Kentuckys, they're not playing for like 2 weeks. You know, they'll shrink the field down back to the normal 68 teams before they get to the real, quote unquote, real tournament.
Yeah, I just don't get it, because if they're planning on starting in November and you're going to have non-conference games and you're going to have conference games, why are we cutening this up with a 300-team NCAA tournament? It doesn't make any sense. Now, if things were bad to the point to where we may only have to tip off the season come January, mid-January, then you know what? I get it. That way, there's really no true fair way to be able to lay out a field. Fine, I get it. But if you're tipping off in November, even if it's in late November, that's non-conference and conference games. You don't need to be throwing out pity bones to teams. You just don't. I don't. No, not at all. Quarterback Joe Burrow named Bengals team captain as a rookie. Give me a break. And Joe Burrow, I mean, he's just that. You know, when you watch those movies and they have those guys who are just so buttoned up and they comb their hair perfectly and they say all the right things, and that's him, and it makes me sick. He makes me nuts.
Congratulations, Joe.
No, I'm not congratulating. He didn't do anything. What has he done?
We haven't seen him practice.
You haven't. But Baker Mayfield wasn't allowed to be happy when he said when the rookie passing touchdown record, and people said he hasn't done anything. He actually did something. Joe Burrow did what? Hell, he carved up the second team defense in their squad scrimmages. Really? Doug Morgan says, "Get his name out of your mouth."
Oh.
I probably shouldn't even bring up his name because everyone else is too busy drooling over him. But here's Joe Burrow. It makes you feel good for sure. But I'm going to have to continue to do my job. If I don't play well, that all goes out the window. Aw, he's so good at saying all the right things. I mean, and everyone just, Joe Burrow. Oh, man, he's so great. Oh, man.
You better hope he stinks.
Joey Burrow. Oh, my goodness. He goes on to say, that's what I'm focused on right now, is playing really, really well and doing my job. Oh, I'm so glad that we find that there's a quarterback out there who's focused on doing their job. I've never heard of a quarterback who's really focused on doing their job.
Some are more focused on doing progressive insurance commercials.
Oh, my goodness. By the way, watch how many commercials this mofo's in when the season starts. Watch
it was too easy. It was too easy. I had to.
Oh, I mean, Joe Burrow, he just looks so comfortable in the pocket. What pocket? You're going up against a defense that is instructed not to touch you. What pocket? This is so stupid. Oh, Joe Burrow. Oh, he's a rookie. Oh, he's a rookie. He hasn't played he hasn't even played a preseason game. He hasn't done anything. And he's a team captain.
You better hope he sucks, man. That's all I say.
I don't hope that he sucks. I just hope that he does something to earn something first. I mean, now look, first of all, he won a national championship in college. So stepping into this organization, he's the only true winner technically that they have. He's the only guy that's actually good at something. So of course, this makes me nauseous. Team captain. Oh, I'm just going to continue to be the best player I can be. Oh, give me a break. Little goody. Come on. Baker Mayfield is the man.
You want to plant the flag on the...
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. Makes me sick.
That's 3 years ago today, by the way.
O-H-I-O. Adios, folks. Except you, Joe Burrow.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN.